All right. Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, welcome. We're going to be getting started today with some King of the Hill in just a moment. Had to get all the competitors lined up and everything, so here we are. Morning, good morning. Nice mountains here in the west. Hope y'all are doing well. Staying safe and healthy out there. Yeah, we're going to be doing it. Sorry, just organizing a few things over on the side here, making sure everything is all lined up. Got Aristo, Brame, who is on the list, and for those of you guys who are wondering kind of what system I use for the list, it's here for the time being. I'm planning on, like, I know I keep saying this, but like literally today, getting a Discord, or day/tomorrow. It might take me some time get it all set up properly, but eventually we'll I don't know, maybe I'll just end up posting it there. But yeah, I guess I could just use Turin's tournament Discord, honestly, or even in the dedicated tournament Discord I could set up, I guess I have the authority and the ability to set up my own channel right there for the list, so maybe I'll do that in the future. I don't know. Yeah, Falcon versus Hadriz up first. So we've definitely got, right out of the gates, a great matchup. Empire versus Wood Elves. Should be very interesting. And Hadriz sort of knowing Falcon's style. He's going to ban Dark Elves and Chaos. Oh no! Oh no, he's doing it. Oh, Falcon decided to go with the Slayers. Oh no, he's going back to Wood Elves. Okay. Playing some Jedi mind trickery over here. yeah, I'm getting the timing down with that, Aristo. What I really need to do is just like make a compound track that I can use. Anyway, it's some technical stuff. Just like use it within OBS. I could time it exactly, but yeah, maybe. Poor Demis. Poor Demis is so risky. Yeah, this map does make it pretty interesting for sure. You guys might hear my cat scrabbling around and some catnip in the background, so don't mind that. Had to distract her momentarily while I got everything set up. But yeah, doing good. Let me just check some levels and stuff here, make sure. I probably needed to bring that a little bit closer. How's the sound level? I think there we go. That's probably a little better. Sure, I'm all situated. Yeah, doing well, doing well. I'm happy anytime Empire is involved. Whoops, I didn't mean to actually click on the build. I doubt either of them are watching right now anyway, but let me go ahead and throw this on here as a screen blocker. Throw the thumbnail of the day, the Happy Javelin Day. Oh, it's pretty good, to be honest. Not that I don't trust. Pretty much everyone on this list today is known entities, trustworthy people. But yeah, let's just admire. I was going through some of my thumbnails today. I think I might make a video of like my top 10 favorite thumbnails I've ever made. Because I have some thumbnails that like you just need to take a moment to admire like the beauty of them, right? They are works of art in and of themselves. Just taking a moment to obviously admire like the artistry of the people who made the models and the textures and everything themselves, right? Also like kind of capturing that still moment in this giant, cacophony of battle or whatever. Hey, what's up, Poison Ducky? You already PM'd the list anyway. Okay. Well, having a look at both of these lists here, they're both pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So yeah, I mean the fire damage obviously aspect of the Empire can play in here, certainly. And you've obviously got like Dryads, other tree units that are weak to fire damage. And just the Empire's weight of heavy cavalry can give the Wood Elves problem, but at the same time, I mean, Wood Elf low-tier troops, if you can catch enemy heavy cavalry, will trade very cost-effectively into them, right? Like Eternal Guard. And, I mean, obviously the ranged firepower of Wood Elves is very intense, and especially on a map like this where you can kind of do some different things. We'll see what goes down here, but let me not forget about my screen blocker. Right, nothing like waking up to a Koth, exactly. I woke up this morning, I woke up pretty early actually, woke up probably like 6:30, and was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to stream today. There doesn't look like there's any tournaments or anything going on. I mean, some other people are probably streaming like quick battles, maybe another King of the Hill or two somewhere, but I figured I was going to do my duty to bring you guys some great content, great competition. Been enjoying gaming quite a bit recently. And yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, I am going to be streaming on Twitch. I'll make an announcement video as well, but yeah, I'm going to be streaming other games on Twitch. Like, I think I'm moving my Bannerlord playthrough over there, and I'm also going to be playing like some Call of Duty Warzone over there, probably Civilizations, I don't know, just like a mix of other games, basically non-Cold War Warhammer games. But let's have a look at builds here for the Empire. We've got some Huntsmen. And we've got Wolkmar the Grim, Spearmen, Fire Wizard, Empire Knights, and Knights of the Blazing Sun. As for the Wood Elves, we've got Orion here, Branch Wraith, looks like Wild Riders, plenty of them, and Dryads. So, yeah, very risky situation here. We'll see how this goes. This build style is potentially risky here. Obviously, Dryads are pretty good units. They trade cost effectively into pretty much all Empire infantry, but they do get smashed pretty hard by heavy cavalry charges, especially Knights of the Blazing Sun. So a lot of it depends on kind of reaction times here. If Orion can get a good Horn of the Wild Hunt and allow them to kind of rear charge or whatever into these various units here. Oh man, look at these Zintler's Reichsguard. Since they updated their textures, they look so good. Oh yeah. Love the details on like the breastplate and the shoulder guards. Zintler's Reichsguard, probably one of the best looking units in the game in my opinion. Oh yeah. Coffee? Oh man, that is rancid, Aristo. That is putrid and worthy of Nurgle's blessing. Nurgle loves puns, if you didn't know. In my head, he does. And they're off immediately. The ruse is obviously going to be discovered. And the thing about Hadra's build is because he has some significant mobility, he can kind of just like pull away, rearrange, and then come back in to engage once more. We do have some Way Watchers mixed in. The Way Watchers will obviously be very strong, but Orion with that Horn of the Wild Hunt and these Wild Riders, they'll need to pick their engagements carefully, but if they can get good engagements, they should be able to get damage. Yeah, I mean, Knights of the Blazing Sun only have 100 armor, which is obviously a bit less than Reichsguard. Reichsguard coming in at 120 with more melee defense as well. The speed of the Knights of the Blazing Sun can come in handy here. 71 speed versus 66 of the regular, or the Zintler's Reichsguard. I believe Empire Knights are the same as well. But Huntsman going to open up on these Wild Riders. They do have shields, yes, for the extra melee defense and missile block, which I think is very important, especially against factions with good missile tools, like obviously the Empire. But let's see, kind of a patient positioning game here, a bit of cat and mouse with the Sisters of Thorn doing some good skirmishing here, and the Way Watchers as well doing a ton of damage to these Knights of the Blazing Sun. Orion also is opening up with his javelin, his giant spear, I guess would be more appropriate. But you can actually use it as kind of like a cannon in a way by throwing it into artillery model, or into cavalry models rather. It'll do a ton of damage and actually like kill multiple unit models in one go. So Orion gonna try and stop up Volkmar here. Looks like Volkmar is gonna have a beautifully placed banishment here. Probably won't do that much damage at the end of the day, but it at the very least forces those Way Watchers to move. Now here we get a great charge, Knights of the Blazing Sun just walloping those Dryads, but Wild Riders come in and countercharge. Nice Shield of Thorns as well for some physical resistance, and the Knights of the Blazing Sun will kind of start to lose out that engagement a little bit. But it looks like the heavy cavalry push coming very, very strong in the center here. These Empire Knights, oh man, looks like they are going to eat the charge of those Wild Riders. The spears are in a supporting position, but yeah. Knights getting a little bit blobbed up here. These two Knights of the Blazing Sun do cut and run, but oh man, Orion's going to get a great bombardment. This Hawk's Talon actually does good damage against cavalry. I mean, granted, Knights of the Blazing Sun are, you know, they have magic resistance. They're not going to take quite as much damage, but the Dryads and the Wild Riders will catch a heal. Horn of the Wild Hunt is active, so those Wild Riders need to try and just hit and run, cycle charge as much as they can. Nice Penumbral Pendulum. Doesn't get the most kills, but it does lead to those few units there being terrified by Orion. So looking good. Over on the far side, these Empire Knights did end up getting routed there, but a beautifully placed Burning Head is absolutely going to destroy 2 units of Dryads, help the Empire kind of push up and around through this flank, but it's not looking great for the Empire Heavy Cavalry. Yeah, getting a little bit blobbed up there in that engagement. They ended up taking a lot of damage, but yeah, we'll see. They're not done quite yet. Maybe the Empire forces on the ropes a little bit here. The Wild Riders pushing back into the back line, going to start shutting down those Huntsmen. Volkmar will push through as well. As long as Volkmar is on the field, honestly, the Empire still has a chance to come back and win this, but we'll see. If these Empire Knights, Knights of the Blazing Sun, and others can come back from route, start to re-secure against the Wild Riders, the Empire, oh, looks like Hadriz is going to go ahead and throw in the towel there. Yeah, maybe if he could have recovered his Knights, might have been able to turn things around, but it was looking pretty dicey there anyway. The Way Watchers still had a bit of ammo left, so yeah, the Vanguard kind of rush ended up not rushing and still doing okay. And yeah, it's just an interesting situation. For Hadra's build, I honestly, I like the Volkmar with critical mass of heavy cavalry. I don't know that a lot of extra infantry would have really helped here, but I almost wonder if you just had a bit more numbers. I do see a distinct lack of Pistoliers as well, of course, for me personally, so I'd probably cut the Huntsmen and actually bring Pistoliers. And then maybe cut the Zintler's Reichsguard for another Empire Knight, and you could maybe take a third, if you could take 3 Pistoliers there, just to give you that mobile support. They can pull up close and just obliterate Wild Riders once they're engaged. And at the very least, you can do the pro thing like I do and throw them away into melee so they die horribly. Nice. That's a great screenshot, Aristo. Let's see, who is next up on the list? We've got Umaze. And let me just get the next person on deck here as well. Oh, looks like Umaze here. Yes. 2 halberd, 2 normal, I think is legal. In banner rules, I think that's legal. I'd have to check, but yeah, Pistoliers are an auto win. That is true. That is true. Yeah, the good thing about Pistoliers in this matchup is their DPS against light armor is just so strong. So strong. Umaze is there. Rame, if you're listening, you're going to be up next. I'll PM you. Alright, and let's get a new map locked in. We'll just switch over to Toothgrass Hill. Three normal and two halberd. Okay. That's a lot of demis. That wouldn't actually be very good. Yeah, that'd be like your entire army. I don't know that you could bring any infantry if you're going to bring like a caster and a lord that's worth anything. I mean, let's say at the minimum you have like, you know, an archlector on horseback with some buffs and a healer, right? Also on horseback. That's going to be your entire build right there. Well, Sarmatian, according to my top secret notepad, you are up after Rame. You have a look at the secret notepad right here. You can see this MLG technology that I'm using. Yeah, you know, actually, Aristo, Final Transmutation, I also really like Searing Doom. People, I don't know why, Searing Doom does so much damage, even to, like, heavily armored cavalry. I guess just because they don't get knocked over and they take the full brunt of the impact damage, but Searing Doom, I think, is super underrated. So Gelt with, like, you might bring Plague of Rust just in case, you know, as insurance against trees if you don't have a lot of armor piercing. And then bring Searing Doom and Final Transmutation just in case. Like, those three spells, like, you can use one Final Transmutation, you know, if you catch a big blob. If they're spread and just catching, you know, individual engagements, then you can be continuously throwing those Searing Dooms out there. And, like, they can be dodged, but, I mean, it's a pretty quick bombardment spell, and it does a good amount of damage. And even if you just force a disengage, right, like, sometimes that can be to your advantage as well. So, I actually really like Searing Doom. I don't see a lot of people using it, but it's very, very underrated, especially against cavalry. After Ray? Well, Sarmatian, I figured you would want some time, you know, in the green room to relax and take advantage of the complimentary fruit basket that we provided for you. Looks like Falcon needs a couple minutes, so we're just going to hang out for a sec. Oh, yeah. I got absolutely cooked, man. I went on a sunburn. I went on a hike this week, and I did not think it was going to be as hot as it was. Had my shirt off the whole time. We hiked probably like 4 or 5 miles round trip. And it was a very steep hike. Probably like 1,000 to 1,500 feet elevation change. Just brutal, but it was really nice out. Like, it was very warm, super sunny. I didn't think it was warm enough for me to get sunburned, but I mean, obviously that's silly. You can get sunburned even like snowboarding and stuff. So I got absolutely cooked. Not absolutely cooked. Like, it honestly isn't too bad, but no bananas. Well, we provided some clementines. We've also got grapefruits. So, you know, you've got your kind of vitamin C stuff covered there. Also, I imported some star fruit. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Yeah, I might start doing some Patreon videos where I actually, like, I don't know, either just like take my phone with me while I'm hiking, like walking somewhere, just like hike up somewhere in the mountains here, like set up a camera and just do like, I don't know, maybe like a Q&A format or just my patron update videos. I've been kind of toying around with some ideas in that way because I definitely live in a very beautiful place and it would be great to kind of utilize that resource in some way. Big outdoors person. Like, I love camping and hiking, and yeah. The state I live in, Utah, actually has the most, like, national parks, national forests, like national monuments, like basically protected lands out of any state in the U.S. A lot of cool places. What do California divas demand these days? Good question. Probably... Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, Salsicha. It's, yeah, vitamin D will protect... I don't even know anymore, man. Hollywood is like... yeah, it's in a weird place. Sound like a true wood elf. Oh, yeah. Yep, wood elves. I could see dwarves living in these mountains, too. I mean, they're pretty dry, right? Like, out here in the west, the Rocky Mountains, at least where I'm at in Utah, it's technically a desert, although, like, on the shade side of the mountain, you get a lot more, like, pine trees and, like, aspens and stuff. It's very beautiful. There's tons of, like, ski and snowboarding resorts here, which obviously are all closed right now. But, like, probably within 15 minutes drive from here, there are at least 5 to 6, like, beautiful canyons I can go down that are just filled with, like, all kinds of pines, aspens, like, scrub oak. Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, wood elves versus dark elves. Very appropriate. Elf things here in Lustria. Toothgrass Hill. Managed to find a clearing in the jungle. Fight each other for our benefit. Yeah, wood elves versus dark elves. This is an interesting matchup. This is a very, very dynamic matchup. Can go a lot of different ways. Looks like we're going to go Orion once again. Or Falcon. We've got Way Watchers, Dryads, so same build pretty much. Wild Hunters of Kurnos this time, and regular Wild Riders, no shields. We've got Sisters of Thorn as well. On the Dark Elves side, a Supreme Sorceress Lore of Death up in the air. That's risky, but I think she'll be okay. Repeater Crossbows. We've got plenty of Dark Riders with shields, Black Ark Corsairs, and Witch Elves. All dual hand weapon anti-infantry, and a lot of them. I actually kind of like this. I mean, you have no missile block, which is, you know, you would think is very counterintuitive, but here's the thing. Corsairs and Witch Elves are both faster than Bleak Swords and Dread Spears, right? So we got 40 speed on Corsairs, 44 for Witch Elves. So they can close the distance much faster. The question is, will they get absolutely lit up by arrows? And I don't know, because of the volume... Maybe not. It kind of depends if Yumeis can bring the whole house here at the same time, then he could get some good work done, but... We'll see. We will see. Yumeis, sensing some sort of deception afoot, is going to kind of deploy his forces in some different areas to make sure he can isolate these back pockets. One thing, just as kind of a positioning note here, I would probably pull these guys just a little bit further back to where they're actually like, so if you try and picture, like if we look from this perspective, you can see kind of this spacing right here, that gives you a little bit of space to work with. But if you try and picture that on your deployment zone, right, it'll be a little hard to exactly, like, you know, visualize that, but you try and picture that spacing. You want to, if you're going to Vanguard, this is my opinion, obviously, but most of the time, if you're going to, unless you're going all in on a Vanguard, you want to try and be, like, within that line so you don't have the risk of Vanguarding on top of each other. But, yeah, Yumeis scouting proves unnecessary, but at the same time, he's going to reorganize his forces quickly, try and get set against this onslaught. These Dark Riders here might get destroyed. Looks like they are going to get up and out of that jungle there. Yeah, the mass infantry thing is a bit of a strange one for me. I mean, I definitely like it. It's different. It is strange, but, I mean, I guess with enough of them, and the speed thing does make a difference, I think, for sure. Especially trying to support against mobile engagements. I mean, they are anti-infantry, obviously, but We're going to get a bit of an engagement here. Dark Riders kind of being sacrificed, but a nice Spirit Leech upgraded. And we've also got a nice rear charge as well from those other Dark Riders. I don't know, the Dark Riders are taking a pretty rough time of it right now. The Witch Elves get in and do enrage those Wild Hunters of Kurnos with the Madness of Cain. Does debuff their stats a bit as well, their melee defense. You can see the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows pulling up with the wide infantry flank kind of sweeping up and around the side here. There's no Soul Stealer, obviously, just Spirit Leech, because we only have the Deathcaster. But the Dark Riders are taking some pretty severe damage. The Way Watchers look like they're focusing the Skirmish Cav there, and a nice charge catching these Wild Riders with the Dark Riders. Very cost effective there, and then the Witch Elves come in and enrage them. Orion is going to call down the, Hawk's Talon thing. Does some okay damage. It's basically like a weaker Searing Doom. Doesn't do too much damage to those infantry, actually, and the Wild Riders do pay the ultimate price there. Things are slightly in Felcon's favor. He was able to crump a lot of these infantry very quickly, but if these units come back from route, before the side of the map, they should be able to restabilize and try and get some work done here. Black Ark Corsairs, just getting a little bit wrecked by Wild Riders and Sisters of Thorn. You can see the Dryads just kind of hanging back. Felcon doing a great job, just not really giving engagements where he doesn't need to necessarily, but a beautiful Penumbral Pendulum there. These Wild Hunters of Kurnos probably going to charge in at the Black Ark Corsairs, but they might get surrounded here. If Yumeis can grab these Witch Elves and charge in, they do countercharge the Wild Riders there, but a nice Spirit Leech on a high-value target. You can see the, Dark Riders getting caught up by Wild Riders, not the best situation. And this very aggressive kind of Vanguard build is so far proving pretty good. I mean, Orion is quite a raid boss. I've been a big fan of him for a while. And, the Witch Elves coming in at the side here, getting on the Dryads. They do enrage them and do a lot of damage very quickly. You can see the Dark Elf units kind of just refuse to die here, so they're definitely still in this game. With the Dark Riders and so forth, they could try and come back. Orion's going to be very tough to kill in the late game, but the Way Watchers don't have a lot of ammo left, so as long as Yumeis can try and keep his Dark Riders out of range, keep his, Supreme Sorceress alive, he definitely still has a chance to come back, get in this. The Wild Riders are going to be tough to deal with, but he can conserve his cavalry especially as well. This is not the best, though. These Dark Riders with repeater crossbows getting caught up by Sisters of Thorn. Granted, Murderous Prowess is still active for the time being, probably just about wearing off. Yep, pretty close to done there, but it will kind of sustain for a little bit longer. He's got to be careful to not get his caster sniped by those Way Watchers, but Felcon in a very commanding position here, pressing forward with his Dryads. The Dryads do cause fear, so they'll be pretty good against troops that lack immune to psychology. I mean, obviously, Witch Elves have immune to psychology where the Frenzy is active, but the Dark Riders trying to do as much hit and run as they can, use up the last of their ammunition, but they're taking hits consistently as well. And over here, these Wood Elf Cavalry were able to kind of rally together, and despite the few number that they have, still chase some units off the side there, make sure they're cleaning up the engagements they need to, and I think Felcon's probably got this one on lock. Yeah, that pendulum was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of the mass infantry thing, but knowing Felcon's playstyle specifically, I might try and go with something different. The Scourge Runners, I like your thinking on the Scourge Runners. Like 3 to 4 Scourge Runners, 4 Dark Riders, maybe some repeater crossbows. Just very mobile, basically. And try and kite and shoot. Definitely easier said than done, but the Druki aren't quite out of this yet. Let's get in close for some action with these Corsairs. I'm going to get absolutely ransacked by Orion here. I'm going to have to switch the thumbnail to Orion if Felcon keeps this up. Oh, look at that kill animation. Oh, man. That Corsair had the worst day of his life, and then it ended. So, there you go. He deserved it. I mean, he's a Corsair. He absolutely deserved it. Just watching peacefully. Yeah, exactly. The idea is not bad, but Wild Riders, like, the Dark Riders can get good engagements on them, but it's very tricky. And just having no spears to play off of, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea, but I'd be curious to try this kind of a build against Skaven, actually. That much anti-infantry dual hand weapon infantry. Could be pretty strong here, but yeah, because Falcon's build's pretty narrow on the infantry, and all of this is dedicated to anti-infantry, right? There's just not enough anti-large to deal with the Wild Riders, let alone Orion. Yeah, that was absolute brutality. Yeah, maybe some Warlocks. Slaanesha's Harvesters at the very least, but just for the extra Soul Stealer. Alright, Rame is up, and Sarmatian, you are on deck for the next one. Getting corner camped on ladder. Oh man, feels bad. Go to the other corner. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I feel like that'd be pretty good versus Skaven. I might change out the repeater crossbows for Scourge Runner chariots because they have a little bit of more hybrid utility there. But like that build idea against them, I like it a lot. Oh, Saint Legend, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, map is. Let's do the. Let's do Storm Demon. No, no. Schwarzhofen. There we go. Trying a 5 Demi army. Wow. Against a corner camper? So, I guess I could, while we're waiting, try and haggardly assemble a new... Yeah, it would be pretty haggard to try and do right now, but... Alright, let's just do it. We got some time while these guys are picking their armies. Looks like we're gonna have Chaos versus Wood Elves this time. Should be interesting. What am I doing over here? Let's go for... Alright. Now I can put the current leader there. Hey, what's up, Ronan? Picked tiles, but changed to dwarfs at the last second. Oof, that feels pretty rough. Let's go here. Gotta find the right font. Don't mind me, just checking something real quick. Don't mind the countdown timer, it means actually nothing. Okay, I guess I did use that one. Alright. Yes, there we go. Let me actually put on some music while I'm doing this. Get a little background. Let's do this playlist instead. At street, 3 straight losses on ladder. Yeah, ladder is a strange place, oftentimes. Actually, let's blow it up a little bit bigger. If that's too big, let me know. And let's actually make this a little bit smaller. Here we go, top king. Do it on 2 lines there. Or you know what, that looks kind of janky. I'm sorry. I'm picky about these kinds of things. These guys are waiting on me. We'll just get in the game. I don't know. What do you guys think? Current leader? Does that sound good? I know this is very haggard right now, but that is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing as far as fitting in the box. Okay, let's do this. Okay, there we go. I'll just do that for now. Top king. Well, yes, anyone who wins at least one game on the hill could be considered a king, right? So it's the top king, whoever was able to hold the title of king for longest. Kingpin, there we go. Top dog. There we go. Let's have a look at some builds here. Go fade this music out. That was very ham-fisted. My apologies. And get over to this one. Okay. As for the Warriors of Chaos, Sarthrel the Everwatch are going to be leading the way, as is tradition, against the Wood Elves. We've got Horse Masters, Poison Warhounds, Chaos Knights with Lances, 2 of them, Marauders, Mirror Guard. So a nice, decently wide build. As for the Wood Elves, this time it's going to be Durthu. So Orion bows back, and now the Tree Boy makes his appearance. We've got Wildwood Rangers as well for some heavy anti-infantry, Way Watchers, Sisters of Thorn, and a Branch Wraith up on the hill. Yeah, let's check out... Oop, not that button. He's just got Penumbral Pendulum and the heal there, I'd imagine. Just Flock of Doom. No Manticore summon, actually, which is pretty interesting. Oh, hey, what's up, Loopy? Yes. Durthu is very good in this matchup, specifically as a counter to Big Bird, because he just kicks the crap out of Big Bird. He can even beat Kolek one-on-one as well, so, yeah, I really like the pick of Durthu in this matchup. Wildwood Rangers also, like, they aren't great in a lot of matchups because of their lack of missile block chance and their light armor, but in this matchup, if you can get them into the right combat at the right time, they will absolutely destroy a lot of Chaos units. So we'll see kind of how things unfold here. The Sisters of Thorn doing some great skirmishing initially. They're the best skirmish cav in the game. They're very expensive and squishy to certain things, like Sarthrel. Yeah, he needs to path over and try and use his magic damage to circumvent the physical resistance. Searing Doom coming in does kind of force those sisters off their point. It is going to do a little bit of friendly fire to the Marauders, but yes, even still, you see how it doesn't do a ton to infantry? Really more of an anti-cavalry tool, in my opinion. But, oh man, these Poison Warhounds, the Sisters of Thorn pop their Shield of Thorns for the physical resistance and extra weapon damage that you're going to charge in and get on those Poison Warhounds without the hounds having gotten the charge off. That's pretty bad. These Chaos Knights with Lances also get kind of caught out in the open here, so initially the engagement not going great. Falcon kind of able to force an awkward situation with those hounds, and yeah, not looking great for the Warriors of Chaos already. Chaos Knights pulling back a bit. Durthu has been Plague of Rusted, so the Javelins are unloading on him, and you can see he is taking effective damage down to 50 armor. And that's pretty impressive, all things considered. But the mobile forces of Chaos, these Chaos Knights, are very expensive. But look at this. A beautiful rear charge just absolutely wrecks those Wildwood Rangers. They're going to take a ton of shock damage from that charge. They do have pretty good melee defense, but yeah, they are already in big trouble. Those Chaos Knights, though, don't want to stay too long. Wildwood Rangers do have great anti-large damage and will, if they get kind of their center of mass in that forest right there, they will get the bonus of anti-large as well. Durthu's taken a ton of damage, though. The Javelins have been able to pretty effectively work on him. These Marauders do need to path up in the back line and possibly try and take out the Way Watchers. Big Bird as well could start running disruption charges on this back line. You can see here the Marauders, Javelins, just being thrown into combat at this point. Raim's going all in to try and finish off Durthu if he can. Big Bird's got a pretty good engagement on him right now. No Plague of Rust, but Big Bird's magic damage will help him circumvent the physical resistance of Durthu. Look at that, though. Durthu is going to be able to hold out for some time. A bit of RNG there. It depends on if Big Bird gets hits or not. But right now, Big Bird is a little bit isolated as most of his supporting units are long gone. Wildwood Rangers, despite taking that nasty charge, were able to win out there. So Big Bird's got to be careful here. And Durthu's going to start getting some effective healing from the Branch Wraiths. So yeah, Big Bird definitely needs to try and pull out of this engagement if he can, which he will. Try and get a rear charge here. Wildwood Rangers are immune to Psychology, so they will not tear route. But being so low, yeah, man, this other unit of Marauders, they're still pretty healthy, so as long as Big Bird can stay alive, he might be able to win this, but things are stabilizing a bit. Oh, man, and this is a beautiful pendulum here. Going to wreck that very healthy unit of Marauders right off the bat, and yeah, Big Bird is in trouble. I think he maybe went a little too all-in in trying to finish off Durthu there. Like, yeah, the other group of Marauders, like I said, if they were able to work up and around the flank, I mean, Felcon had this reserve Eternal Guard to protect. They might not have got directly onto the Way Watchers, but I almost wonder, rather than trying to engage Durthu there, just run around with Big Bird, kind of ping-pong between these Way Watchers, force them off their position, force Durthu to chase you, right? Because you're much more mobile than he is. And maybe he could have won some other engagements, saved some of his other units, but we'll see. Big Bird's not dead yet. Still plenty of Javelins. He's also got Plague of Rust in his pocket as well to try and finish off Durthu to make one more big push. But he's got to be careful not to get his forces too isolated here. Otherwise, he could run into critical army losses. The Flock of Doom, Sword of Daith, yeah, Sword of Daith will do some pretty good damage. It is going to pick off quite a few unit models there, and those Wildwood Rangers, man, their leadership is just so good. These Way Watchers also completely untouched, completely healthy at this point. You'll often see mass Way Watchers, and I really don't think you need more than 2 in most situations. Felcon has kind of showed here that with 2, you can allocate a lot of extra resources to protecting and playing aggressively. Big Bird might finish off Durthu here, or let's see. This is the fate of Middle-earth right here. The rest of the Chaos Forces are going to give up the fight, but... Oh, no. The Sorcerer is charging in. Durthu. Oh. Oh, man. It's so close right now. Both of these heroes just wet-noodling each other, but Durthu slays the bird, and that's going to be it for the Warriors of Chaos. They immediately hit army losses. And yeah, oh man, that initial engagement, getting the Hounds caught out on the side, I know it doesn't seem like much, but those Hounds were going to be pretty essential here. I also wonder, with the Horse Masters, if it's better to just take, rather than taking 3 Horse Masters, take 4 regular Marauder Horsemen. It gives you more volume of fire. Maybe that would have made the difference in being able to finish off Durthu there, but the Chaos Knights with Lances are also a pretty rough pick. I mean, I like the pick here quite a bit. The charge bonus is good. They do a ton of shock damage. But they just, yeah, they also kind of got forced into some weird engagements there. So, well played to both players. Very nicely done. Durthu tanking all of the damage. Those Wildwood Rangers getting pounded as well, but still able to take the W. Yeah, missed a few charges. And that's how it goes. Felcon also did a really good job of not taking the charges too, like trying to actively countercharge CAC units before they get their charge order off. Right? Good stuff. All right, Sarmation, I will PM you the password. Okay, get the next map lined up here. Cool, cool. Yeah, you almost got him. You almost got him, Raim. It was very, very close. I mentioned a couple things. The Horse Masters, like, I get why you took them because they have the extra tankiness, but I almost wonder if the volume of fire of, like, having, rather than 3 Horse Masters, 4 Marauder Horsemen, how that might have changed things. It's hard to say. The Lances as well, the Chaos Knights with Lances, like, as it stands, I almost always take the Power Sword version, because they have, like, 50-something melee defense, so even if you do miss your charges, like, they won't die quite as bad. But yeah, solid. Let's see. Yeah, I will try and do some Shogun 2 stuff when it goes free, I think, yeah. I might just do, like, a campaign, I'm not sure, but... yes, let me do this. Oh, no worries, animation. Take your time. Take your time. I got all day. Oh, there you go. Norden. No, this is not the map I wanted. Let's do, let's see. Let's do... Let's do MP Blue Reach River. That's a good one. Invade Shogun 2 multiplayer with terrible blob builds. The thing is, in Shogun 2, like, your units can route very easily, especially lower tier units, just from getting flanked. Like, it's a lot more, I don't know, like, I don't know if that would actually work in that game. Maybe. I guess there are kind of hero units in that game, right? But... Take Wood Elves, ban Dwarfs and Bretonia. Okay. Intermission, thinking through his picks. Naginata Samurai box on the victory points. Yeah, until they pull up with 6 units of archers. That's the thing, too. No units have missile block chance in Shogun, so archers are really good. They're really, really good. Blobs are the terrible idea in all historical games. Exactly. Well, yeah. I guess you probably wouldn't count Three Kingdoms as a historical game then. You can play that on records, which lends itself less to blobbing, but... Alright. Uh-oh, looks like he's going Nagarath. So we're gonna have the, High Elf Dark Elves, or the High Elf Wood Elves. Kind of. They don't have the trees, they just have the shooting units. Nagarath. Hopefully we see some Tuxedo Princes, that'd be nice. Yeah, it's definitely hard. They are very tough faction to be good with, but if you are good with them, they're devastating. Orion versus a Lith, here we go. Let's go. Yeah, a Lithanar. Oh man. In this matchup, that's just a death sentence. Like, I'm pretty sure the Glady will actually just kill him. Like, he could probably outshoot her, but he has mounts, right? So, yeah, a Lithanar. He's actually good in a couple matchups. Like, I think he might actually be okay against Skaven. And there are some other matchups where I think he's definitely, like, semi-viable. But in most matchups, I would say he's not, really. That being said, you do have access to Shadow Walkers. They can be okay in this matchup. As kind of an answer to Way Watchers. Dragon Princes, as I mentioned, and with this faction, obviously, they look extra fancy, so everyone loves that. Okay. Not that track. Let's go for the next one. The list is pretty open, by the way, guys. Right now, I've only got Zardar. Chosen of the Norns is next. And then Zardar. Archers are really good here, like mass archers. Tyrnok chariots can be very good here. Yeah. Like wide high elf builds can be very good in this matchup, like with a couple of elite support units. Yeah, you can also go a bit of an Elftonia build if you take like 5 melee reavers, like 1 Dragon Prince, maybe 3 Silver Helms. That's 8 cavalry units in total, and then just like 5 spearmen maybe. Maybe bring like Ilario for healing, or you could bring Teclis if you want to be cool. Bolt throwers can be pretty good. Yeah, bolt throwers that can be if you can protect them. But let's have a look at builds here. For the Forces of Nagaraith, we do have a princess on an eagle, so doing her best Glady impression. Some spearmen, some white lions, potentially a risky pick here, but they will do well against like dryads and stuff. We've got reavers, silver helms, a lore master of Hoeth. So a very interesting build. As for, oh man, this could be trouble. A Glady. Yeah, the discount Glady's going to find out real quick that the actual Glady is much, much better. We've also got a Waystalker here, Wild Hunters of Kurnos, Sisters of Thorn, a Princess. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the tooltip from over there. Yeah, Eternal Guards, mix of shields and without, and a lot of Glade Guard. We've got 5 Glade Guard here, Hagbane tips, no Starfire Shafts, right, because they're very bad against Dragon Princes. And that's it. We'll see how this goes. I'm very, very interested. Princess on an Eagle is a risky play, and especially being pretty vulnerable to the Glady, right? 30% missile resistance? Yes, but I mean, the low HP makes them not great. I mean, the 30% missile resistance is nice on paper, but against small arms fire, it doesn't work. I don't know. Like, it's okay. It's definitely okay, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. Yeah, the Silver Helms are a pretty good pick here. I like the Silver Helms, very cost effective in this matchup. They do need to be careful not to get munched by Wild Riders or Wild Hunters of Kurnos, but they can take pretty cost effective engagements against them. No Tuxedo Princes, unfortunately, but Wood Elves have some okay counters to them that we'll see. White Lions are good. They're okay. They're alright. They're not the worst, but they're just not amazing. Like, as far as mid-tier Great Weapon Infantry goes, they're probably middle of the pack. Oh, we actually have the Pure Main Company here too, yeah. These guys with their armor sundering. And their Guardian. Weird unit to have Guardian, in my opinion. But that does mean they'll give it to this Lore Master of Hoeth, which could be useful, I guess. They can kind of act as his bodyguard. I like that. Yeah, White Lions, like, they're just in a weird place, to be honest. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, Princess is in trouble. Princess is going to need to start running immediately, because as soon as this lady gets into range for Prevaneth Rema, it's all over Lawbreaker. And, yeah, versus with the Waystalker and the Glade Lord providing counter skirmish against the Princess, that's just a bad, bad day for her. And you can see Sarmation out of the gates making a little bit of a positioning mistake. All of his White Lions and kind of other forces are over here, and his Spears have gotten a little bit isolated. They do have some Silver Helms in a position to try and help here, but he needs to be careful not to just let these units get completely isolated and destroyed. So, yeah, the Lore Master of Hoeth and these other units need to not get too far out. Yeah, this is a pretty bad positioning mistake. We'll see. Falcon's coming in to try and punish these spearmen. Yeah, so you see how he cuts the charge, doesn't charge the one that's braced, and instead uses the Waywatcher to break the bracing bonus here and then rear charge. The dragon then being used to tie up the Silver Helms as well, so they don't come in. But at the same time, the Silver Helms now have the Glade Lord tied on the ground, and the Princess can come in and start to shoot her in the back rather. But yeah, man, those White Lions need to get back over here. They are, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. But this is nice. Wild Hunters of Kronos going to get a beautiful side charge here on those Silver Helms. Just do an absolutely devastating amount of damage. And we'll see. We'll see when... Yeah, the White Lions out in the boonies there, they are going to come back over and try and help. But already Sarmation's lost on a bit of resources. It's nothing too extreme at this point. Does still have a lot of his more high-value infantry. And you can see these Illyrian Reavers coming from the back line. Falcon's going to try and kind of form up a defensive position utilizing this pond here to kind of block one of his flanks. But Silver Helms, oh yeah, you see that focus fire from those Glade Guard, absolutely brutal. And so far, I can say there's been a theme in a lot of these matches, which is that people are trying to engage piecemeal, whereas Falcon's doing a great job keeping his forces together, right? And yeah, you gotta keep everything together and try and engage, you know, at the same time and not get like wonky, weird side engagements and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, that got pretty badly separated. I don't know, Aristo. I don't know what the algorithm says. Yeah, we have two waiting right now, so yeah, that feels a little bit bad getting the White Lions separated there, but I don't know, even if they had been in place to help with that engagement, like, I just don't know that the White Lions, like, I don't see the armor piercing, why you would need that here, like, just from a build perspective. I'd be curious to know kind of the thoughts on that build, but I guess they do trade good into Dryads, right? They'll trade, I wonder how they trade with Eternal Guard, actually. That's an interesting one. I'd be curious to test that, because Eternal Guard have good melee defense and good not the best armor-piercing damage, but they have pretty low melee attack. With martial prowess active, White Lion should win, but I wonder, like, if you take some fire on the approach, maybe there's some supporting elements. Like, I think it's actually not the most cost-inefficient trade for the Eternal Guards because of their AP, but I don't know. I'd have to kind of do some testing and try. But let's head to El Angui. I'm gonna go AFK for just a second while these guys get their things locked in, their armies and such. So let me go ahead and update this. And there we go. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, the Eternal Guard's lack of bracing and mass definitely is a big problem for them. But excuse me. Fade that music out here, and no, actually, you know what? I would probably give the best spear unit in the game. You know what I think? It's actually Ungor spears. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this, right? Got 120 models. They don't have the greatest stats, and their leadership is pretty poor, but they're very cheap. And their little frenzy buff makes them, it actually gives them immune to psychology for the initial run, right? And they actually have pretty good stats. Like, if you look at their attack stats, they're impressive for a spear unit. And they have Vanguard, they have Stalk, they have a ton of utility, right, in that way. And, like, I guess, what am I trying to say with this? Yeah, Ungor Spearmen. Best AP anti-large, yeah, zombie halberds. Yeah, I would say the best just straight up spear unit though is Ungor Spearmen, probably. Their leadership does kind of let them down a little bit, but that Primal Fury buff definitely helps. And yeah, I mean the stock and the Vanguard is a big part of it, and the high model count. That's definitely a big part of it. The other thing too, and this is very underrated, is they're fast. Their speed is very high, and for spears, that matters a lot, because what it means is they can chase, like, for example, cavalry that have been debuffed or kind of blocked in. They can, like, chase the models and get hits in as the cavalry's disengaging, right? So, yeah. We'll see how this build goes. Chosen of the Norns coming in with, again, White Lions. He's backed him up with Keepers of the Flame. He's got some Tree Kin and Alariel the Radiant. This is a very interesting build. No missile block chance again anywhere, and that means that these Way Watchers are going to have an absolute field day. We've got Orion once again. Looks like Sisters of Thorn, Wild Riders, and I'm going to say, I'm not saying Chosen of the Norns can't win this, but there has been a trend. If you've noticed, there has been a trend today. All the people who have brought infantry-centric compositions have got beaten, let's say, pretty quickly. People who have brought more balanced composition, like Raim probably had the best performance against Falcon's Wood Elves today so far, and he brought a more balanced composition, right? So the infantry-centric compositions versus Wood Elves, like, I see that, but at the same time, I guess Hadris went with a very cavalry-focused build at the beginning, and that was a little bit tough there. But, yeah, I mean, oof, Alariel miscasting herself a little bit, but the Way Watchers, the thing they're going to run into is they have a lot of targets to shoot at, and everything's kind of about the same price. Besides, oh, Alariel, run! Alariel needs to run right now. Alariel needs to run right now. Just get hidden. Don't stand within range. Like, run this way. Get, like, over here in these woods right here. You don't want to stay within range of those Way Watchers. You will get absolutely eliminated, right? Like, with Alariel, you would want to cut and run. I'd probably come right here on the edge of the Way Watcher's range, still within range to cast some healing spell support. You could maybe even hook up and around, and if you can stay hidden right here, you could come over here, but yeah, Alariel's now throwing herself in this blob to try and get some extra healing from that Star of Avalorn on herself. She is doing some pretty good damage to the Dryad, but Orion's in the immediate area, so got to be very careful of that. Earthblood coming in as well, going to just double up on the healing here, but oh man, rear charge coming. These Wild Hunters of Kurnos probably just going to clean these Treekin here, I would imagine. They do have the Treekin targeted, and a very nice bombardment also timed from Orion. Going to do some okay damage, will lead to those White Lions routing, but maybe this is actually the infantry build that can work. These Phoenix Guard have taken very, very little damage. The Treekin also took very little damage, surprisingly, from that rear charge. The Wild Hunters of Kurnos, Horn of the Wild Hunt currently active. They're up to 100 charge bonus. They do get a pretty good engagement here. Let's see, the Treekin, yeah, they're not honestly taking all that much damage. These Wild Hunters of Kurnos are actually taking some hits in return, so maybe this is the build. Maybe this is the infantry build that's going to work against Falcon's Wood Elves. We'll see. Balance power slightly in the Wood Elves' favor, as a lot of units have been kind of taken out. The Treekin could be potentially a problem. I'd imagine that the Eternal Guards will trade pretty cost effectively into them, but Wild Hunters of Kurnos just continuously cycle charging here, trying to get in damage, quick hit and run. They do need to be careful. The Keepers of the Flame have magic attacks, which will do quite a bit extra to the Wild Riders, obviously. They rely on that physical resistance very heavily, but we'll see. Falcon's doing a good job kind of ping-ponging around, not leaving his Wild Riders or Sisters of Thorn in combat for too long, and just letting Orion kind of tank this whole blob here, while the rest of his spears redeploy, try and maybe go after some of these Treekin or other units. They are about to get pretty blobbed up right here. Definitely want to try and cut and run with some of these guys out towards the flanks a little bit, but as it stands, Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders are able to mop up any units that kind of get separated from this high elf blob here, so pretty good. The Way Watchers are starting to run out of ammo, but they've done a lot of damage to those Keepers of the Flame, and yeah, we'll see. There's still, what, 2 more units of Phoenix Guard? Orion's going to have to kill with the help of these Eternal Guards and the Wild Riders and so on. Can they do it? We'll see. The Treekin are starting to go down a little bit as well, although they're still all basically, yeah, 12 unit models on all of them. The problem with the Treekin is they're basically units that are not going to do any damage for what you've paid for them, which is potentially tough. And if the Way Watchers can serve, even like 1 or 2 volleys could potentially finish off Alarielle here, or at least do enough damage, you know, to make it hard for her. But another Star of Avalorn going to come here, try and heal what's left of the Keepers of the Flame. There are still 43 models there, so there's some good potential for healing. Sisters of Thorn using up the last of their ammunition as well. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Falcon got a little bit blobbed up here with his spears, but oh man, here it comes. Beautiful Penumbral Pendulum. Catching all of these units, does a lot of HP damage to the infantry at least. Alarielle's going to respond, but Alarielle's at her healing cap now, and she's boxed in against Orion. She'll have to pull through her own trees to try and escape. It does look like she is able to accomplish that, but in the meantime, Orion is, you know, doing his anti-large armor piercing thing here. He is taking quite a bit of damage from those Keepers of the Flame, though, so he has to be a bit careful. But look at this, a mass rout, mass terror rout. That's the backbreaker right there. A beautifully timed rear charge. All those Wild Riders, Sisters of Thorn came in, procced a big terror rout for a lot of those units, and that is a problem with High Elves. You know, Phoenix Guard, not immune to psychology. They do have great leadership, but not technically immune to psychology. Although the Dryad is getting picked off here by Alarielle. That is going to obviously stop up any healing or magic for the Wood Elves. One last Earthblood does actually catch the Branch Wraith. Great timing there, and the Wild Hunters able to get a little bit of that love as well. Way Watchers are now out of ammo. So it's, yeah, I don't know. This is going to be close. I mean, balance power definitely in Wood Elves' favor at this point. The fact that the Sisters of Thorn can just chase all these routing units and keep them from coming back is going to be a big impact. And the continuous rear charges from these Wild Hunters of Kurnos will do well. The trees, the gray trees here, having a pretty bad time in terms of their leadership, but also the Wild Hunters of Kurnos, man, they've taken some hits. Only 37 melee defense. Pretty low at the end of the day, right? And Orion, absolute Chad, very low on HP. I don't think he can get finished off unless he just stands on the Phoenix Guard there. Alarielle comes and gets a hit on him. I don't know, though. This is a bit of a desperate play. Alarielle needs to be careful not to get hit by him too much. But yeah, this last Phoenix Guard, once they go, that's going to be army losses. And I think Falcon got it done. That almost worked. That almost worked. I thought for a second it might, but Falcon playing to the strength of his mobility, keeping his Wild Riders, you know, even though they were taking damage, he would never left them in combat for too long. Just quick hit and run charges, you know, getting that full surround, excellent positioning. Orion mistakes her for Alarielle. Oh man, or Ariel. She is Alarielle. Ariel. That's going to be confusing if we ever do get Ariel. Oof, tough stuff. Tough stuff. Alright, Zardar is up next. So we'll get him going. And yes, I do have room on the list. If you want to PM me on Discord, get you queued up. Yeah, that Penumbral Pendulum was very decisive. That was very decisive. Thought it was a bit of a mistake for Falcon to blob up, but I guess, I mean, if he forces that blob for the Penumbral Pendulum, both of them were kind of blobbed up right there, but yeah, Summation, I can get you back in. I can get you back in. Well, good for you, Neiman. This whole stream has been that, basically. So, yeah, once we're done here, or like in between the matches, if you want to go back and watch the previous matches, he's been playing Wood Elves basically the whole time. We had one Glady game, one Durthu game, but I think, what, 3 Durthu games? So, yeah, let's go ahead and update the scoreboard. See at this point if anyone can even unseat Falcon. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm gonna put this on mute for just a second, put some music back on, but I'll be right here, don't worry. Alright, my apologies, guys. Just getting some quick nourishment, some calories. I can keep my blood sugar up and all that. So, yeah. Norsca versus Wood Elves now. Should be an interesting one. Shadow Walkers. Shadow Walkers, I don't know. They can be okay, but like you said, the low model count, they're like Way Watchers without AP, basically. I find that with High Elves, just going wide with missiles is a lot more cost-effective usually, rather than trying to take a few expensive missiles. They maybe can work, but I mean, an expensive unit like that, you're going to have to protect from Wild Riders with the tools that you have. Like, I don't know, I just don't love it. I do think High Elf Spears need to be a little bit cheaper. Like, just most High Elf units are not cost-effective, I'm going to be honest, in my opinion. In most situations, they're not cost-effective. Like, all High Elf units are very situational. Yeah, Shadow Walkers, I think Shadow Walkers are good against, like, Skaven, for example, because they have the poison, so it makes things harder. It makes it harder for things to catch you. There we go. And in the late game, once they use all their ammo, they have anti-infantry, so they can fight a little bit better, right? So there's a little bit of benefit bringing Shadow Walkers in that specific matchup. But in most matchups, like, I don't know that you're getting a lot of extra benefit for paying. And keep in mind, Shadow Warriors are already, as I mentioned, most High Elf units are not cost-effective in most situations, and I would say that's true of Shadow Warriors. But yeah. Who is Carlito France? That is Zardar. Yeah, usually I'll make a rule where you can't play the same faction twice, but I decided just to let it slide for today. Wood Elves are a faction that's kind of underrepresented these days, so I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy, watching this postcast. I'll be sure to point them back to it. That there's just a bunch of really good Wood Elf games. So good to see some nice competitive gameplay with them. Let's take a look at what we've got for the Elves. Glady. No messing around this time. Spellslinger Lore of Life. Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. Interesting choice. We've got Wild Riders, Sisters of Thorn, Eternal Guards with Shields. Very interesting. A lot of people think this matchup is tough for the Wood Elves. I think that, you know, there's things you can do as the Wood Elves, but as for what Norsca's brought here, Wulfric the Wanderer on the Mammoth, we've got Marauder Spears, Javs, Hounds, and 3 Skin Wolves. Plenty of Marauder Spears and Champs and regular Marauders. Ice Horns. So good stuff. Excellent. Oh yeah, we'll fade that out since in-battle music is just about to start. I know that track's a banger. It's kind of hard to fade out at that point. I should have waited for the drop at least, but it's all good. Yeah, the Death Sorcerer is an interesting choice. I'm going to be honest. As far as you talking about the best spear units in the game goes, do you want to talk about one of the worst spear units in the game? Marauder Spearmen. They do have Enrage, right? 25 weapon strength, 15 bonus versus large, only 5 armor piercing. They have 37 melee defense, which is not great for this cost range. 25 melee attack, which is okay. 35 speed is okay, not amazing. 60 leadership is, again, not okay. But I'm just not really a fan of Marauder Spearmen at all. I tend not to bring them in any of my builds, just because I think you can get your anti-large from elsewhere. But we'll see. We'll kind of see how it goes. What track was that? That was, let's see. Crack Your Head with a Tabla. It's from the Medieval 2 Total War soundtrack. Alright. These guys... Looks like Felcon went to go grab a tea real quick, so we'll just chill. I mean, yeah, but also no. Like, they have way less weapon strength than Champs. Regular Marauders have 28 weapon strength, which obviously, you know, isn't amazing. But even still, like, regular Marauders, 28 melee defense, it only goes up to... I mean, 37, I guess, is okay, but even still, like, the lack of missile block chance is a big problem. Their attack animations are also pretty slow. Like, they do get the benefit of the enrage sometimes, but I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. Like, I think if you're gonna go infantry, the shields offer you an upside in that you have missile block chance, and I don't know. Like, I think just regular Marauders are a lot more cost effective. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just personally have never really liked these guys playing as Norsca. Like, for me, your anti-large, your good anti-large comes from your javelins and the monsters, right? You've got Skinwolves, you've got Famir, Mammoths can be great anti-large. Yeah, I mean, you've got, what, Feral Manticores as well. Yeah, I mean, as a spear unit, they're okay, but taking them in the faction that they're in as a whole, right, then they're just, they're like, I don't ever bring them. So if you measure a unit, like, how good it is by, like, how often it is used for a faction, then they're not very good. But, I mean, that's not to say that they're terrible outright. I just, yeah, I don't use them myself. I don't think that's always true, actually. If you bring counter-shooting builds, like, let's say you bring 4 Horsemen, 4 Marauder Javs, I mean, depending on who you're getting kited by, obviously, and the range differential there. Wood Elves, if they go really fully dedicated in the kite, then you could potentially have some problems, but the Skin Wolves, like, the Skin Wolves plus Mass Hounds and Horsemen is actually pretty strong, I think, in this matchup. Yeah, exactly. You don't need them because Norsca has more OP tools. Yep. Oh, Zardar's got to be careful not to get his hounds caught out here. The Way Watchers in a pretty okay position. They're a bit far from the infantry support, but I mean they have the speed to separate from the rest of these units, right? And the Swift Shiver Shards, they do have double shot, and the magic damage helps once the Enrage starts kicking off, but the lack of, I guess, armor piercing doesn't really matter too much here. The Glady was thinking about charging down there. Oh man, the Deepwood Scout's getting caught out, but that is going to force a giant engagement with the Warhounds. Oh, if he only had Lore of Metal, this would be a beautiful spot for a final transmutation. A Fate of Buna is going to go off here. The Mammoth does charge in, but all of those Hounds just got caught out and probably shattered right there. We'll see if they end up coming back, but that was a really nasty engagement. And the Wild Riders and other units just going straight up in the front against these infantry units. Sisters of Thorn, a few of them will get caught up by the Skinwolves here as they try and get away. They probably will end up losing out on some models, but yeah, they're taking some HP damage. The physical resistance certainly helps. The Glady drops down, and she's taking a ton of damage from the Skinwolves. Likewise, though, Wolfric getting absolutely lit up here. These Skinwolves also fighting mostly unsupported. They did okay. They actually did a lot of damage to those Wild Hunters and the other Wild Riders, but of course, they will be terrified away and start healing, and the Wood Elves are also going to start healing with their Earth Blood. Meanwhile, the Marauders are trying to get up here to get to a supporting position. Javelins want to start shooting probably at the Glady, but once the Skinwolves start to get their leadership back a little bit here, start to kind of rally back into the fight, should be okay. The Eternal Guard will trade pretty badly with Marauders and obviously with Champions. Champions will trade very well here, but those Swift Shiver Shards could potentially be a problem still. Anyone's game at this point. The Skinwolves, yeah, he needs to kind of maintain a presence over on this side, not to get his Death Sorcerer sniped. A nice breath attack, going to land right on the other champions, so both units of champions have taken some damage from some supporting elements. The Glady's going to drop down here, and beautifully done. It immediately, like, oh man, Zardar sees through the Gambit and is actually able to countercharge here with the Skinwolves and do a lot of damage to those Wild Riders. I mean, granted, Wild Riders still were able to get a little bit of a rear charge here. Wild Hunters of Kurnos coming in as a second wave. The Hounds coming to try and see off the Sisters of Thorn there. They do get a great countercharge. Probably going to finish off the Beasts of Tashnar, the Norscan Warhounds, but at the very least they can be tied down. Spearmen, see, this is the problem. They're slow enough that they have a hard time supporting your mobile engagements as Norsca, so I don't know. The Glady has been routed, though. Look at this. I'm completely missing this. The Glady got hit by tons of jabs. She does manage to get a regrowth, so she will come back. But, man, that's very, very painful. Keeping the balance of power close. Wolfric's got to be careful not to go down here. The Wood Elves are starting to seize a bit of mobility advantage, and this is really bad for Norsca. They were relying on these mobile units to get some work done, and there's no way these Skinwolves, they probably should have just charged there. Yeah, I mean, there's no way they're going to be able to get away. Wild Riders are way faster. So the Javelin still being alive is good, but I just don't see, I mean, Velkon has proved again and again with his Wild Riders and his Sisters of Thorn in the late game be very, very dangerous, but that boat certainly will be devastating against the Elf Infantry. There are still a lot of champs, I guess, and a lot of Icehorn Marauders. These Deepwood Scouts are also starting to run low on ammo, but look at that. Like I said, the Glady, with that regrowth, did come back from route. That's the power of that flying monster there. Oh man, Swift Shivers have to be careful. They might do a lot of friendly magic damage fire to the Sisters of Thorn. It actually does lead them to getting terrified away. That will help secure these Marauder Spearmen once again. The Wild Hunters of Kurnos coming back. They might try and get a nice open field charge here against Wolfric the Wanderer or the Skinwolves. If the Skinwolves plus Wolfric together go after the Wild Hunters, they might be able to get something done, or like use these Marauder Spears, these useless Marauder Spears, to try and at least catch, but no, it looks like the Skinwolves themselves get caught out. There's nothing to protect the Javelins. They're going all in to try and finish off the Glady here, but likewise, the Deepwood Scouts are doing the same against Wolfric the Wanderer, and now is the killing blow, maybe? Wolfric's trying to get away, but I don't think he can get out of range in time. Yeah. These Wild Hunters disrupting those Javelins so that the Glady doesn't get killed, and I think Wolfric is going to get routed there. Will he get shattered? I don't think so, but the routing takes him within range of these mobile Wood Elf units. They can now apply poison and continue to chase him down. So, yeah. Over here, the Glady cleaning up some scattered Marauders. These champs still have quite a few models left. I mean, it's definitely still pretty close. And, yeah, if he could Spirit Leech these Sisters of Thorn, I mean, the Wild Hunters of Kurnos got a Spirit Leech there. They're getting multi-charged now. They've got to be shattered at some point. They've got only 8 models left. I don't know. They definitely didn't shatter there, though. 7 models left. And now the Sisters of Thorn are peeling off. Wulfric might be able to come back from route, but the Glady is shooting him in the back. Nope, Wulfric goes down there. That is a pretty bad blow to Norsca. Zardar going to try and stabilize his forces here. This Shaman Sorcerer's got to be extremely careful not to get sniped out by the Glady, but considering how... I don't know, I feel like the Spellslinger's probably got a good amount of magic left. Maybe not. I really wish I could see the Winds of Magic on the different players here, but with the Skin Wolves and Wulfric all going down... he's kind of more or less at the mercy of the mobility of the Wood Elves. That being said, the Deepwood Scouts are out of ammo, so they're now moving in to engage. They have decent enough melee stats. Actually, no, it's very bad. 18 and 22 for the cost is actually very cost inefficient. But these champions, what they can do is just isolate like this. Any isolated units that get caught out like that, that's a good target for them. Those champs, though, I mean, 53 melee defense, they'll be able to hold out pretty well, and Zardar definitely needs to come try and support with these other units. The Javelins firing into this fight might seem counterintuitive, but at this point you just got to fire at something, try and use up the rest of the ammo there, and be very careful not to let these Sisters of Thorn... Oh man, Shaman Sorcerer came back from route, but he's about to get his day ruined by some Sisters of Thorn. They're going to immediately come in. They have good stats, 35 attack, 34 defense, only 28 weapon strength with a low model count makes their DPS pretty low in a lot of situations, but they will be able to finish off the Shaman Sorcerer there, and the Glady cleans it up. So a very, very close game. Very well played to Zardar. Yeah, man, that was pretty close. A few kind of key small things could have ended up changing that, but... Interesting. Yeah, like, again, just from my perspective, if you were to cut those Marauder Spearmen out and just replace them with, like, I don't even know, like more Hounds or something, or even more, some Marauder Horsemen with Javelins or something, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's better ways of getting your anti-large, and especially in that can support those mobile engagements, right? That's the problem. Skin Wolves and Hounds, obviously, are so much faster than your Marauder Spearmen that they just have a hard time like staying in the right position to be able to support each other. Something to be careful of. Healing single entity wins. Yeah, that regrowth was pretty decisive. And again, if you had that Marauder Horseman, I mean, granted, Felcon's doing a good job kind of contesting the mobility there, but a Marauder Horseman maybe would have been able to help chase some things off rather than the Marauder Spearmen, which were just dying, you know? Yeah, Frosty Dogs are nice, exactly. Yeah, I think you just take something besides the Marauder Spears here. Anyway, we've got a few more coming up. Let's see. Getting our next competitors lined up here. Just going. All right. That was solid. That was very solid. Oh, geez. Okay. I think here's an idea that I've been kind of playing around with. What if as single entities got weaker, they actually, like, their melee stats got debuffed, right? Like as their health went down, I should say, they got weaker in terms of their combat stats, like their prowess, accuracy, you know, whatever. Like that's how it is in Warhammer 40k tabletop. Like even monsters and vehicles all, like, as they get more damage, they get progressively weaker. I think that's something that they could implement for single entities, and that would actually help balance them quite a bit. Because then, you know, they, like other units, as their HP goes down, they start to lose some of their potential output. So maybe, like, you would have their weapon strength go down or something? I don't know. I'd have to kind of play around with it a little bit and see, but I think that could be one way to kind of make the single entities fit a little bit better within the mechanics of Total War. Right now, Loopy, not too many. I've got Summation for a game 2, and yeah, I can get you on here as well. Track's a little intense. Might skip this one. Yeah, thresholds at every 25%. That would be okay. So, okay. Okay, I need to do this. Let me grab Steam. Bring it over here. Okay, here we go. Friend code. Invite has been sent. And here we are. Who's next? We've got, what is it? Dendro. And then if you want to go next, I can let you go next, or if you want to let Loopy go ahead of you, that's also fine with me. It's up to you. Okay, here it is. Okay. Okay, let's here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Let me get the next map locked in here. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? Let's do... let's do... Yeah, Southern Chaos Waste. Alright, alright. Thanks everyone for joining. Sorry, some people are distracting me over on the side here. Go away, Steam. I don't need your things anymore. Thank you very much. Alright, looks like we're gonna have Norsca versus Wood Elves again. We'll see how this goes. Yeah. Should be interesting. Hey! Bastion coming in with the $5. Big thanks, man. Much appreciated. You guys are the best. Happy to stream for you guys. Get some great content in here. And man, how about those Wood Elves today, huh? Oh, geez. What was that? Okay, we're good. Give me just a second. And I'm back. Okay, sorry. And they're ready just in time. How about that? Yeah, man, I'm happy to help Bastion. Yeah, help flatten the curve, help everyone stay home, give you guys something to watch, especially if you're like, you know, working from home. Although it is, I guess, Saturday today, but yeah, it's been a good time. Been happy to provide for you guys. It's been an interesting situation to say the least, but I'm very thankful to have this channel. Gives me something to do, helps keep me sane. So honestly, thank you guys for being here watching. We'll go ahead and fade this out as we step into the battle. Once again, Norsca, this time coming in with just regular Marauders up front, again with the Marauder Spearmen. Throg this time, a Shaman Sorcerer, Lore of Death, and we do have a Werekin as well. We do have some Marauder Horsemen and some Ice Wolves, Beasts of Tashnar. So a little bit more in the mobility this time. Throg is a interesting choice. I think I like Wolfric on the Mammoth a little bit better, honestly. But despite the danger of, you know, the bows here, again, a similar composition this time, but slightly different. We do have the 2 Swiftshiver Shards once more, Wild Hunters of Kronos, and 2 more Wild Riders, but we've got a Dragon this time up in the air, Ancient Tree Man, and some Wildwood Rangers. Yeah, Eternal Guards with shields. The Ancient Tree Man is an interesting pick here. People probably wouldn't bring Famir super often in this matchup, which would be kind of the one unit I'd be scared of. Lore of Fire, maybe, yeah, but Famir, I guess, like, Flaming Sword of Ruin on Skinwolves could be pretty dangerous. Just helping procrastinate. There we go. Well, I'm happy to do that as well. Falcon rushing in from the side here. See Dendro just kind of trying to stay tight with his Marauder Horsemen. Doesn't want to get caught too far out of position. Needs to try and stay close to his infantry. The Hounds will get absolutely ransacked by this massive Wild Riders, so he has to be pretty careful. But with the support of the Dragon, it'll be even more one-sided. Swiftshiver Shards obviously still stocked right now. Have not been revealed yet, but let's see. Infantry force is moving up. Yeah, this mobile force, just come back, kind of re-secure. Form up at the flank here. Definitely want to fight all supported, kind of bring the house, right? Like I like to say. Everything all at once. So these shielded boys here coming up in the front line. We've got the Beasts of Tashnar kind of supporting in the center as well, so the Wildwood Rangers can't necessarily just charge straight in between the Javelins and the Hounds and so on here. And, yeah, Falcon's not really giving a solid engagement, but Dendro's coming up, getting into a position to start picking away with these Marauder Jav Cav. Likewise, the Swiftshiver Shards are going to kind of skirmish back and forth a little bit as well. A little bit of a skirmish phase. We're going to see Spirit Leech also on the Wild Hunters, but oh man, that Shaman Sorcerer is now caught in a position where he might get absolutely gadded by the Swiftshiver Shards there. Throg's coming in. He's got to be careful not to get killed by the Dragon here, but he is going to come and try and fight the Tree Man. The Tree Man will match up okay against him, especially with the support of these Eternal Guard, but the Marauder Infantry now going to start getting in play here. Over here on the far side, you can see the Hounds rushing in. The Marauder Horsemen also just kind of charged in, trying to get at the Deepwood Scouts, but, you know, just not quite getting there. Norscan Ice Wolves did manage to hold up some Wild Riders. They're getting some healing. The Javelins providing some supporting fire. Spears rushing out to that side. The Beasts of Tashnar, though, probably ought to have been, you know, trying to help support that mobile engagement, but nonetheless, we have more Marauder Horsemen over on this side. Some good engagements for the Marauder Infantry. And, oh man, nice breath attack right through the side of these Marauders. They are just Marauders, so it's not the biggest loss in the world, but still. The turning of this flank mobility, though, that's just going to open up all of this backline to rear charges by Wild Riders, and that's basically the win right there, right? So, again, with the Marauder Spears, this time, just cut the Marauder Spears and bring some Skinwolves, and I would also probably cut this Werekin and bring, like, a unit of Skinwolves instead. The Werekin's pretty good. He can kind of help do some single-target anti-large AP, but right now he's just letting Throg get absolutely killed I mean, granted, the dragon is taking quite a bit of damage, but eating the regrowth there. Now comes the Ancient Tree Man, swinging back around. Deal with Throg. Throg is just having a bad day, to be honest. Just barfs on the Tree Man's feet, because that's how he feels. And with the Forest Dragon getting a big regrowth there, a lot of healing, going to drop back down. So far hasn't done too much to Throg, but we'll kind of keep the health bars in focus. Support of those Swift Shiver Shards have been absolutely devastating in this matchup. Maybe I need to rethink my opinion on them, but they've been doing a great job here in this specific matchup. So maybe there is something to them in this matchup specifically. But yeah, Throg and the Werekin going to go down. And that will be all. I'll kind of have to theory craft some builds in this matchup, but like I think I know of some builds that would give the Wood Elves some major problems. But again, I'm not playing against Felcom, right? So no, you want to jump in? We got room for you. I've got a few people on the list, but I can throw you on there. Swift Shiver Shards suck. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, the extra volume of fire is a bit of a benefit, and in this matchup where you can take advantage of the magic damage, they're like a little bit cheaper Way Watchers if you don't necessarily need the AP of Way Watchers. But you want magic damage instead. Like, there are some situations where that's better. Then, you know, they kind of offer a bit of an alternative in that way, but Frog going to get eaten by the dragon here, which has managed to gain 2 XP chevrons. Spirit Leeching trying to do what it can, but yeah, all these low-tier Marauder infantry just getting chased off, and that will be army losses. I mean, Throg I could see causing terror individually, but they ought to at least make him immune to psychology. He just gets terrified so easy. But anyway, yeah, again, for this build, just cut these Marauder Spearmen. I'd probably also just take the regular Marauder Horsemen, and then, yeah, take Wolfric. I might honestly take 4 Marauder Horsemen and 2 Horse Masters, and then cut the Spearmen, cut the Werekin, maybe take like 2 to 3 units of Skin Wolves, the unarmored Skin Wolves. But, yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, their range is pretty low. That is a problem. But, again, in matchups where the range isn't as much of a consideration, like against Norsca, then they can be useful. I think they're good situationally, but yes, he has tanks. Couple times, actually. What, 3 times? 2 times? 3 times? Alright, so next up on the list we got Sarmatian coming back for vengeance, so big thanks for playing. We'll get Sarmatian in here. You might have heard on the stream already, but just in case, I'm going to shoot you a PM on Discord. Not right now, Tyler. I will, so stay tuned to my channel. I'll be making an announcement video, hopefully by the end of the weekend, where I put up a link for a Discord server. I don't specifically, but if you check in the description, you'll see a link to the dedicated Warhammer tournament Discord, and there that's where I, right now at least, have been posting my announcements. And just in general, if you want to like get into tournaments and just more competitive play in general, find good people to play with, get tips and, you know, on builds and matchups and units and so on, that is a great resource. So yeah, I might have to actually regenerate that link. Let me know if that link in the description does not work for you. I can make a new one. Or if one of you moderators wants to drop one in chat, that would also work. Yes, Central Chaos Waste. Alright, and they're getting their army picks locked in. Once again, we're going to have Naggarith versus Wood Elves. We'll see who gets a good showing this time. Alright. Going on a solid 2 hours of streaming right now. Okay. Just checking some things over on the side. Yeah, doing well. We're doing great today. Had some excellent Wood Elf action. So for any of you guys who want to learn how to play Wood Elves, I mean, just straight up, if anyone ever asks you how to Wood Elf, just refer them to this stream. This has a lot of great tips. Well, last time he had a bit of a micro mistake. Got his White Lions separated. And don't get me wrong, White Lions are a unit. But I probably wouldn't take him against the Wood Elves. And I need to shave. I would turn on my webcam right now, but I look like a heathen. This nasty, scraggly facial hair, and yeah, I'm gonna shave later. Hello. Welcome. Wood Elf mirror, basically. Yep, Falcon is crushing as Wood Elves. That is correct. So I'm going to continue on. We've got, how many more do we have on the list? We've got 2 more on the list, Loopy and then Xiphos. Depending on how long those matches take, I might call it after that, or if more people want to jump on, then we can maybe extend it a little bit, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. White Lions, they don't really have a place versus Wood Elves. Like, there's not really a unit that you would want to bring them for, right? Like, there's not really anything that's worth fighting. Like, the armor piercing isn't worthwhile. I mean, the missile resistance helps a little bit, but I think I'd rather just have more mobility, to be honest, always. Now you're curious? No, I refuse. Alright, looks like we got one more competitor signed up. Hate Wood Elves with a passion. Yeah. Yeah, people love to hate Wood Elves. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but like, I like certain things about them. I'm just not the biggest fan of all elves in general, but let's have a look at builds here. For the High Elves this time, we've got Shadow Walkers, okay. Got some Archers and some Spearmen. Looks like Silver Helms, a Light Mage, a Princess. Is she on foot? She's on foot. And we've got a Handmaiden as well. That's a wild pick. Very interesting. Yeah, Spearmen. That's interesting. I am very curious. We've got Sisters of Thorn here. It looks like 3-way Watchers this time. Yeah, 3-way Watchers this time. Wild Hunters of Kurnos. Got a Glady. 5 Glade Guards with shields. Or, yeah, Eternal Guards, rather. Oh, Xiphos. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I can swap Hadras back in your spot. That's no worries. Right? Why on foot? That's what I'm saying. The caster at least has a chariot. You know what would be cool? Is if the princess also got a chariot mount. Like, why do the Wood Elf heroes get chariots, but the lords do not? I've never understood fully. But a nice Arrows of Kernus, going to come in immediately, do some damage to that light mage. Yeah, the shots also kind of picking away here. Intermission having to reform his lines a little bit. The Sisters of Thorn probably going to come for a quick hit and run charge, but the archers do reform to provide some counterfire. Yeah, those spearmen were not braced, so they are going to take some free damage more or less. And oh man, look at the three-way watchers just deletes a Silver Helm, right? Unshielded Silver Helm especially, miss micro for just a second, and it's gone. And the Shadow Walkers are coming forward. He needs to use them to try and counterfire the Way Watchers. But there's obviously a lot of enemy cavalry here, so the Silver Helms, yeah, and there's no like Reavers or anything to help protect this backline against this mass of you know, Wild Riders and stuff. I mean, I guess there is this one Silver Helm way out here still, but the volume of fire is much greater for the High Elves, but let's see if they can actually outshoot. Right now, they're not concentrating. They're having to concentrate their fire on these mobile units, right? And the Spearmen just getting easily outmaneuvered by the fast speed of the cavalry there. Silver Helms way out of position to be able to support, and yeah, already the Shadow Walkers, because of their low health and low model counters, getting horribly overrun. Nice breath attack from the Glady there, also does a ton of damage, and yeah, this is over already. Yes, they do. They do in this case. Yeah, the Cav, I mean, I get the trying to countershoot the Wood Elves here, but the Cav, I don't know, like, I honestly think those two Silver Helms should have been 3 Illyrian Reavers. They're faster, they can respond quicker, they trade pretty cost effectively if you get, like, rear charges on Wood Elves, but, I don't know. 3 Way Watchers is pretty nasty. But an Elf Tonia build might have been okay here. The Shadow Walkers, maybe if they had been in the right position, but just because of the mobility advantage, again, mobility advantage allows the missiles to kind of work, right? So throughout a lot of these games, one of the consistent trends that we've seen is Falcon, when he's able to get his mobility advantage, you know, when he also does a great job kind of just keeping reserve units in his backline, but when he gets that mobility advantage, I mean, it's your own skirmishers, infantry skirmishers, are just not going to be able to survive, right? So, like, I don't know. The High Elves don't really have cheap skirmish calves, so it's harder for them. But, like, Illyrian Reaver archers are not super cost-effective here. I don't know. I almost think you just go full melee rush cav, honestly. Yeah, they are. But you gotta not make mistakes and bring specific builds in my mind. But anyway, let's go ahead and get Loopy in here. He's up next. Let's go here. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. That was rough. That was rough. Vitamin Durthu, here we go. Are we gonna get a Wood Elf mirror now? Let me get the map lined up. Let's do Eshin. Yeah, it happens. It happens. I've been steamrolled by Falcon more times than I can count, so it definitely happens. Yeah. Oh boy, are we gonna mirror? Well, looks like he's gonna mirror. Mirror match tournaments? Not really. You'll occasionally see mirror matches in tournaments, but, like, mirror match specific tournaments are not a thing. No. Your chair is squeaky. Oh, yeah. Oh, big problem. Yep. That's very distracting. That is a thing. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just don't play High Elves much, so I really shouldn't talk too much about them. Especially if you're trying to not be boring and bring, like, meta stuff like Alariel double healing noble chariots. Wood elves, I don't know if I would say perfect balance, but let me actually go grab something. I'll be right back. Alright, and I'm here. That was kind of a bit abrupt and awkward. Probably should have brought my voice in and then faded the music out. But, you know, you live and learn. Let's have a look at the builds here. As for the forces of Argulon, got a Glade Lord here, a Spellslinger Lore of Life up in the air, both on Eagles, Sisters of Thorn. We've got 3 Way Watchers, including the Hawkeyes of Jakira, some Eternal Guards, and we've got Sisters of Thorn, yeah. So, triple Sisters, I know Loopy's a big fan of. As for the forces of Orion, because it is Orion, we've got Dryads, Wild Riders here, yeah, what is that, Branch Wraith, and more Wild Riders, so definitely going with an offensive focus. We'll see the range focus versus the offensive focus, who ends up taking the day here, but I really like the aggressive, you know, kind of Vanguard rush with Orion. Yeah, full rush, exactly. Oh, here we go. Are the Way Watchers going to try and snipe Orion right out of the gates? That could be absolutely devastating. You have to be careful not to get too far forward here, though. They'll just get absolutely crumped by Wild Riders. Yeah, see, they're way too far, like, from these Sisters of Thorn for support. Oh, here it goes, here it goes. Ooh, Orion getting deleted. He's probably going to pop Shield of Isha immediately. Those Wild Riders respond right away. One more volley here. Might be enough. Nope. Let's see. Will Cloak of Isha. Oh, it sustains him just barely. He manages to survive that gooning attempt. That is a lot of damage right out of the gate, though, on Orion. You can see immediately the Eternal Guards kind of moving into a position to protect. The Sisters of Thorn also getting in the right situation here. These Eternal Guards were braced, so nice screening charge there. But, oh, man, this is bad. Wild Hunters are charging into Sisters. They are going to munch those Sisters for breakfast with their magic damage. Yeah, look at those Sisters of Thorn getting absolutely, completely melted there. That is just a horrible engagement for them. Hawkeyes of Jakira do manage to use the Smoke Bomb to try and tie down some of those Wild Riders. Their Eternal Guards are now rushing in over here. But, yeah, these Sisters of Thorn, losing these Sisters of Thorn out on this flank to these Wild Riders is going to be absolutely devastating. I mean, that's 3,300 points worth of skirmish cav that needs to get the heck out of there like yesterday. But looks like the one unit does get devoured. The second unit, yeah, doesn't quite deploy long enough. Honestly, probably just set it on skirmish mode at this point. Try and keep it moving away from the fight. But the Eternal Guard here are not going to be braced. They're going to take a bit of a charge there. And the Way Watchers were pretty much all compromised. Yeah, no, actually, just the Hawkeyes. They mostly managed to get away. And it looks like the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are now going to get rear charged by the Sisters of Thorn. Velkon Sisters coming in to support those, so it's just a big old mess in this backline. The one unit of Way Watchers is getting pounded pretty badly, but the Sisters of Thorn now kind of lingering too long in that engagement. If we take a look over here, Orion is... They're trying to goon Orion. They're doing their best, but this Spellslinger should not be just sitting and fighting him. You need to be cycle charging, taking advantage of that 70 charge bonus, or no, yeah, I was going to say 62 on the Eagle. But, she unfortunately does get routed after lingering a bit too long there. That being said, balance power still pretty even. Sisters of Thorn in this backline, but oh man, yeah, as these Way Watchers continue to get eaten up by these Wild Riders, it's just going to be bad news. You know, I honestly think probably a tree build would have won here. If, Loopy had gone with an actual Durthu, like Argulon build, he might have won, because I think the Treekin and Treeman will do reasonably well against the Wild Rider kind of mass here, but as it stands, things are not looking great for the Way Watchers and the Sisters. Sisters having been mostly annihilated at this point. The Glady's relatively healthy, and that gooning attempt on Orion was pretty legit, but, I mean, he's Orion. He just barely survived. I think that's going to be game right there. We'll see. No. Balance power's still pretty close. I mean, I guess these Hawkeyes of Jakira are technically still alive. Glady's technically still alive. And the fact that Orion is still so heavily damaged means that, yeah, it's going to be tough. But, like, with the Dryads cleaning up these spears, that's a great engagement for Orion's troops here. Wild Hunters of Kurnos are still alive, kind of pressuring the Sisters of Thorn around. So I don't see how Loopy can take this one, but maybe. I mean, Sisters of Thorn for Felcon are routing. He's got only a handful of Wild Riders left. The Dryad, though, still being alive with all these heroic units will be very important. Hawkeyes of Jakira might have a smoke bomb in their pocket. Let's see, do they? If they do, they have not used it in time. They are going to get connected on by the Wild Hunters. There and here. Again, open field charged, unbraced spears. This is a dream for the Wild Riders, just easily cleaning up there. And the few scattered pockets of Eternal Guard that remain being all kind of in different places. Yeah, the Dryads trading very well. It's kind of interesting, you know, the forces of Argwalon didn't bring any tree units, and Orion actually brought like an infantry line of Dryads. At this point, the Glady's going to drop down, and yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, in the Wood Elf Mirror, it's just kind of a weird, like, rock, paper, scissors game, but I actually think a tree build is how you go. Maybe. I don't know. But, like, a tree build, if you come up against, like, a Mass Glade Guard build, would get countered, but then, obviously, Mass Glade Guard build gets countered by Mass Wild Riders, so, like, I don't know if you want to really scale heavily in one direction, but I definitely think tree units are good in this matchup. Yeah, I mean, he didn't really... Maybe the Hawkeyes specifically, because they're an ROR, could have got off one more volley to try and finish him off, but I don't know. With the Cloak of Isha, I think it would have taken all three of them probably with one more volley. Yeah. Yeah, the sniping attempt... I mean, there was an attempt. Even still, though, if he would have sniped Orion, I don't think that would have helped. This critical mass of Wild Riders and getting his sisters caught up on them... the Wild Hunters just absolutely annihilating the Sisters of Thorn. That was, I think, one of the bigger decisive factors. Sisters of Thorn, I mean, 3 of them is good in certain matchups, but I think in this matchup, because their DPS output isn't amazing in a lot of situations, I don't know that I would take 3. I mean, I guess Felcon took 2, but yeah, the Wild Hunters plus the 4 Wild Riders, just all of this cavalry, that mass mobility, very, very scary. Yeah, because, I mean, he would have been able to... He still had the smoke bomb with the Hawkeyes, right? Like, his units were close. It might have even been a pretty good bait to try and draw them all in, pop the smoke bomb, and then pull back through your spears as the spears advance into the Wild Riders as they're trying to pull away slowly, right? So, yeah, I agree there. Yeah, instant dead, exactly. Yeah, Sisters of Thorn versus Wild Hunters of Kurnoss is probably one of the most one-sided engagements in the game. Oh, had 4 Wild Riders. Yeah, makes sense. Can anyone stop Felcon? That is the question. We've got Hadriz coming up for another round, and then Chosen for the last finisher. Alright, thanks for playing, Loopy. Much appreciated. Go ahead and just get him out of here so that we can get somebody else in. Adriz, you are up. And, yeah, you know the password already, so... Are you in that chat, actually, as well? Maybe, maybe not. That's it. Really tired. Yeah, I mean, if Felcon's done, the only thing we have at this point is rematches, so... I think I might call it. If the champ is tired, it's only rematches at this point, so yeah. Yeah, I guess Hadris is already here. We'll just play this one more. Let's go to Altdorf Outskirts. And we'll see who wins. I think what we'll do is if Falcon wins this one, I don't know, maybe we'll just have a showcase match between Hadris and Chosen for the final. If Falcon's tired, or if he wants to keep going, he can, but... Yeah, Beastmen. Yeah, no one's done Beastmen versus Wood Elves yet. This is like one of the most thematic matchups in the game. And Beastmen, I actually think, have a pretty decent matchup here. They have a lot of really good tools. The mass mobility that we've seen from Falcon, you know, the Wild Rider play, it could be in trouble against mass amounts of Centaurs and, you know, Hounds and Manticore summons. See? Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's difficult. Like Falcon's playstyle is definitely very aggressive, but at the same time, like he doesn't make a lot of mistakes generally. Like he generally picks and chooses good engagements, and he kind of forces you into making mistakes. You really have to be on your toes and watching where you get engagements, making sure you get good engagements. And then, yeah, I mean, up against him, like in terms of just play style, like I have seen like really good kite players give him issues. Playing like a control, like you mentioned, defensive, like a missile defense style, especially against an aggressive Wood Elf build, like the builds that we've been seeing, I don't know that it would work super well. Counter rushing is definitely a valid strategy, although, again, because Falcon tends to bait you into good engagements, you have to be very careful if you are counter rushing him. That way you don't, you know, just die instantly. I've done that a few times, like trying to counter rush him, and then the game's like 2.5 minutes, and I just lose. You like that thumbnail, Italian? Yeah, Italian, how are you not a moderator? Yeah, there we go. You are now a moderator. Congratulations. Only one congratulation, not multiple congratulations, just one. You only get one. But there you go. Now you don't have to be approved by the censors. The missile resist Death Star, it might work. It might work. Especially if you have the high mage, you can like spam Apotheosis on yourself and get 11% damage resistance. And then whatever you're counter shooting with, like let's say you have, you know, 2 solar engines, then you can continuously keep shooting with the solar engines. You can throw Hand of Glory on them as well to keep proccing that Shield of Sapphire, that 11% damage resistance, layering that on top of the Slan's base. And then, of course, you have the Temple Guard nearby, the ROR Temple Guard for a bit of physical resistance. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can outtrade Dwarven Cannons. Wood Elves have a lot more burst damage up close. Like with Way Watchers, they just do obscene amounts of damage, and especially because they hit like 100% of their shots usually. Um, yeah, I don't know. I also feel that Wood Elves are a bit of a counter to Lizardmen, so I probably wouldn't take Wood Elves into I wouldn't take Lizardmen into Wood Elves. Like Durthu's actually surprisingly really hard for the Lizardmen to kill without very specific units, and those units are easily countered by the Wood Elves. And just in general, the Wood Elves AP missiles, cheap AP anti-large infantry, good magic. I mean, they just match up pretty well against the Lizardmen. One thing the Lizardmen can do, though, is go super wide and swarm with a ton of skinks and missiles. You do have to be careful of getting, obviously, run over by Wild Riders, but as long as you have a few heavy hitters, you can kind of stop them up. And, yeah. I mean, we've been... excuse me. We've been watching wide infantry builds get run over all day, so I don't know actually how well that would work, but, I mean, you just have, especially if you have monsters that are also shooting, like, just everything has poison javelins, and is just constantly bogging them down, making them tired, you know, doing HP damage here and there. Yeah. Lizards beat Wood Elves? You think so, Loopy? I don't know. I think Wood Elves are actually pretty good in that matchup. Like, Durthu is very underrated there. Durthu with, like, I don't know, a couple Way Watchers, some good mobility. I think it's pretty hard, actually, for Wood Elves to stop. Yeah, Slann plus Croak is banned in tournaments, though. Because it gives you double Arcane Conduit and double Shield of the old ones, which is just ridiculously powerful. But anyway, let's start with the Wood Elves this time. We've got Swift Shiver Shards once again, Sisters of Thorn, Orion, Branch Wraith, Eternal Guard, and plenty of mobility, obviously. Wild Riders, pretty expected. As for the Beastie Boys, we've got Morgar the Shadowgave leading the way, 2 Summoners, got some Spawn, we've got Poison Warhounds, plenty of Centaurs, some with great weapons, those are the Sons of Goros, Goreherds with shields, magic damage will also help a bit there, some throwing axes, and yeah, we'll see if Hadris decides to try and deploy using these woods. Even though the Chaos Spawn can't hide in the woods, they do suffer no forest penalty, right? So they can fight. I mean, obviously, all the Wood Elf units fight with no forest penalty as well, so both players will have benefit in fighting in this area. So I imagine we're going to see a giant kind of pitched engagement right in this neck of the woods. Ha! Get it? Neck of the... I'm sorry. Yeah, it also gives net and deliverance of pizza, exactly. Nobody likes netted pizza. That's just gross. I don't know. The thing about Durthu in this matchup is, like, Carnosaurs have a hard time against him because of his charge defense and because he does so much damage in return. Like, he doesn't have quite as good a stats, but his mass also helps a lot there, I think. I don't know. I don't think he gets knocked over by Carnosaurs. I actually haven't played that in a while, but from what I remember, he can stand firm against them. And then, like, you look at the Lizardmen's other tools, like, yeah, Salamanders, maybe, but they get outranged by Wood Elf missiles. Solar Engines, they don't have the best AP values, and Durthu can kind of just heal through the damage. I mean, I guess a Dread Saurian could step on his face, but that is really risky to take against the Wood Elves, because you're just asking to get all of the Way Watchers directly into your face. Sora Shields are a good unit. I agree with that, Tanowin. Sora Shields are actually a unit that the Wood Elves, I mean, outside of, like, magic and using, like, Durthu to fight them, they, like, the War Dancers, I should say, they trade okay into Saurus, but it's not super cost-effective. It's kind of a 50-50 trade, so it's not one that you would want to take consistently. And, I mean, War Dancers just get run over by a lot of other stuff anyway, so I would probably say that, yeah. Million Javelins. You can. But, I mean, especially if it's like Durthu, couple Wild Riders, couple Way Watchers, kind of like similar to builds to what we've seen here, but you just swap in Durthu for Orion, right? Oh, man. This is wild. This is wild right now. This is all kinds of wild. This is going to be so immediate. We're just going to stick close and see what happens. Oh, and right away... Right away, a charge from the side. These hounds managed to catch the Wild Riders without the Wild Riders getting the charge off. That makes a big difference. Spears immediately collapsing and getting collapsed here. Sons of Goros respond right away as well, going straight to the Wild Riders. Their magic attacks will make a big difference there. Swift Shiver Shards pouring in fire over here. Looks like they're trying to counter-shoot the Centaurs, or I'm not really sure. Goreherds? I'm not sure exactly what, but the spawn are making their way downtown, and immediately you can see the Wild Riders for Falcon have taken a lot of damage, and this is what I'm talking about, counter-rushing. If you can get good engagements, then you can definitely take them, but you see here how Falcon's getting pretty blobbed up. A beautiful Flock of Doom will do a lot of kind of area DPS. A nice Hawk's Talon in response. You can see these Wild Riders, yeah, a lot of them having taken an extreme amount of damage already. The Hounds can then kind of peel off, work around this side, and then go chase those Wild Riders off the side. And the Dryads also getting cleaned up here, so good start from the Beastmen, pushing through into the second line with the Chaos Spawn, getting immediately onto these Deepwood Scouts here, and they're going to poison them, slow them down, and do a lot of anti-infantry damage. Very good stuff. Meanwhile, out on the side there, Poison Warhounds, they do get the Curse of Anraher, but they managed to mostly stay firm. The Wild Riders, we still got one unit left. Another unit left over here, kind of tied up in the spawn, but a lot of those Warhounds are quickly getting terrified away by Orion. That being said, it looks like the Manticore summon did not actually go off. I don't know if Hadris has noticed. He was going to pull up a Manticore summon right there, but I believe the caster must have got knocked over by something. Maybe by one of these Wild Riders, or perhaps he canceled it manually. I'm not sure. But here, these Centaurs, are they just going to countercharge here? It looks like they do actually have a countercharge order. That's pretty good stuff. I mean, they have a good charge bonus with that Primal Fury buff active. They should be able to beat those Wild Riders because of their low numbers. And here comes the Manticore summon. Chaos Warhounds also pushing up and around the side to get a rear charge on those Wild Riders. And I think Hadris has got this one pretty convincingly here. Yeah, I don't know. Counter-rushing, guys. I'm telling you. And the Manticore summon... Oh no, that was actually the Chaos Spawn summon. He hasn't even used any Manticore summon or Cygor summon. Does he even have them? No, he has the Summoners, but only the Manticore summon. Actually, no Cygor summon there, just Viletide, which is pretty good. Viletide's very solid in this matchup. And yeah, I think this is it. Sons of Goros going to come, and this is a very fitting end for the Wood Elves. This is a very fitting end. Orion's running around trying to stabilize things, but the beasts are just absolutely swarming from every side here on the outdoor outskirts in the woods of the old world. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Beastie Boys having their day in the sun. Beastmen have a good matchup against the Wood Elves, in my opinion. The swarming mobility gives the Wood Elves a lot of problems, and I mean, you can do things here. Obviously, Durthu, as I mentioned, an absolute powerhouse. The Tree Men are also pretty good in this matchup. They're just kind of hard for the Beastmen to kill, to be honest. The Beastmen don't have great tools for killing them, and the tools that would kill them well, you probably wouldn't take in this matchup, besides, like, maybe the Butchers of Kalkengard, or just one unit of Minotaurs with shields in general, but yeah. The mighty hath fallen. Now the Chaos Spawn are going to surround Orion and give him his noble end here, along with Morgur and the other heroes. Maybe. Might take some time. Might take quite a bit of time, actually. Oh yeah, here we go. Spawn in a full surround. He's just going to get consistently knocked over by them. Wood Elves needed a dragon. Dragons can be pretty good in this matchup. The breath attacks can be pretty good, but the dragons, I don't know, they are a little bit slow on the ground, and the Beastman mobility can catch them pretty easily. Because of the lack of armor, like, Beastmen will do some damage there, and, I mean, they do have some physical resistance, which certainly helps, but, yeah. The terror and the shock damage, really, of the dragon is what you want. And if Wood Elves had access to the Feral Manticore instead of the Grey Eagle, I would say take that every time, every single time. But instead you have the Grey Eagle, which is not as good, doesn't cause terror. It can be used in a similar way, but... Oh, here we go. Double summon. The last spawn summon being used, and the Manticore. Will the Manticore come finish off Orion? Nope, he'll just fall to the spawn. A fitting end. Alright. Wow, yeah, the Beast Rush coming in strong, and that immediate engagement with the Hounds there, kind of drawing the Wild Riders into a very unfavorable situation. You see how squishy they are at the end of the day. Falcon's done a great job microing them pretty much this whole time, but that was a rough one. All right, we got one more. Let me pull Chosen in here. If he's still around, give him just a second. GG. Wild Rush still lives in our hearts. Yeah. Yeah, that was solid. That was quite the run there. Absolute undisputed leader. Sisters of Twilight, man, just more stuff for the Wood Elves would be great. Like more legendary lords, lord choices in general, more units. Like, in order to counter that mass Beastman mobility, and I know if you think about this, it's almost like nightmarish to think about with Falcon's micro. Like, if you combine the 4 Wild Riders with, let's say, like 4 Glade Riders with spears, maybe, you know, just melee Glade Riders that have like they're like basically Dark Riders, melee Dark Riders earlier in Reavers, right? They have about 40 charge bonus, probably about the same price range, like 500 points or so, 550 maybe, and just kind of like okay stats. Just a nice, cost-effective, cheap, light cavalry. And then, I guess not super cheap, but like good light cavalry, I should say. Cheap, cost-effective light cavalry. And in combining those then with the Wild Riders, like that just sounds like the stuff of nightmares, to be honest. And it would certainly help against those mass Beastman mobility rushes. Yeah. Orion did win 6 games, that's true. That's very true, and very convincingly. Very convincingly. Was it 6 or 5? It's somewhere in there. Anyway, map. Let's go with for the final one, Bloodpine Woods. It's another classic old world map. Orion OP. I think I should rename this to the stream where Orion won and change the thumbnail to one of my other top favorite thumbnails, which is, yeah, I think we're going to do it. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go, just for you, Falcon, because that was quite the run with good old, what's his bucket? With Orion and the Wood Elves in general. So let's find it. Oh, here we go. You know what? I was going to do my other favorite one, but since I used that one recently, this one is going to be your favorite, because it's actually Orion versus Nakai. There we go. Alright, did it update? No, it did not update. Why? Come on. Some of your settings can be saved. Okay. I don't know. Did it take? Let's see, give it a quick refresh here. Nice, it did refresh. Okay. So these guys are gonna be done. What was your final win total, Falcon? 8, 9? Something like that? That's very impressive. Very impressive. We'll say 9. How about that? Okay. Go ahead and just go to the next track. The wild hunt will continue. Okay. Looks like we got one ready. Chaos versus Beastmen in Bloodpine Woods. That seems fitting, the name, somehow. And here we are. This will be the final game for today. Bloodpine Woods. The Wood Elves have been sent packing back to their realm, and now all that remains is for the Warriors of Chaos and the Beastmen face off against each other. So here we are. Just checking through some things. Okay. We'll go ahead and fade this music out. And just come in here, fly around cam, and let's take a look at what we've got, starting with the Warriors of Chaos. Who's ready for a monster mash? I'm ready for a monster mash. Yeah, we've got Morgr the Shadowgave, Brave Shaman Lore of Beast, Brave Shaman Lore of Death. Looks like Ungor Spearman Herd, Gore Herds, 1 Bestigore, 2 Pigs, 2 Chaos Spawn. I see a Giant somewhere as well. Oh yeah, 2 Giants. 2 haggard, disgusting, horned. I'm gonna say something else, but as the horn clips through the screen there, Giants, yeah, I love it. And meanwhile, for the Warriors of Chaos, Kolek the Sun Eater gonna be leading the way. Summoners of Rage, backed up by Chaos Knights with lances with some chevrons going on. Wow, they're up to rank 4. Very interesting. Chaos Knights with power swords. Yeah, Metal Sorcerer with just final transmutation, and we got some Marauders. So let's see how this does. I'm curious to know about the chevron, the kind of Chaos Knights with lances stacked on top of the summoners here. That is a nasty kind of cavalry force, if you will. Double Giant, though, right? That's what I'm saying. Double Giant's going to be pretty good here. I don't know if these guys can actually take down a Giant. Kolek will for sure get killed 2v1, and with all these spawn to kind of help tie other things up, he'll have a hard time getting consistent engagements. We'll see. The Chaos Knights with lances might also have a bit of a hard time against the Giants. I mean, I guess the Javelin Cavalry will be very important here. And likewise, it'll be very important for Hadris to try and use his mobility to screen them out so that his Giants don't get all the Javelins to the face. Oh, Risto. Yeah, he's definitely going to have to put that hammer to work for sure. See, Hadris is swinging up and around the side here, maneuvering his hounds into position, trying to kind of get his forces square here. You can see we've got some attack orders already. The Giants coming forward with the Brave Shaman. Chaos Spawn also coming forward to kind of help screen things out a little bit here. Yeah, the Javelins will start opening up on the Chaos Spawn. That's going to be decently cost effective, but anything that's not a Giant, basically, it might be a waste of ammunition. Yeah, Kolek's here. He's going to be able to screen out these Poisoned Warhounds. And the Horse Masters also doing great. Oop, careful of the pigs. Pigs are angry. The Beastmen emerging from the woods now. Power swords? Yeah, the power swords chilling up front. They don't necessarily want to get caught up by the hounds and then bogged down in a bunch of stuff, but this is bad. Kolek now going to get spirit leeched, and it looks like the piggies might be the ones to force an engagement here. But look at this. Chosen has maneuvered these Chaos Knights and Summoners up and around the flank here. I don't know. He honestly probably should have just collapsed there and tried to take that engagement. As it stands, Kolek's going to come in. Oh man, those Chaos Knights. Oh man, they should have probably committed there. Both of these players not really wanting to commit to an engagement, try and take advantage of their skirmish tools. But definitely that's going to go in Chosen's favor here. It looks like he's going to try and kite back a little bit to his infantry force. His infantry force also retreating, realizing that Hadriz failed to bring any ranged units of any kind, so he can definitely just kite him back here. Hadriz is going to be forced to advance, and now the Razorgore herd get enraged. That's going to be kind of nice because they'll just keep chasing endlessly, but also he can't micro them anymore, which is tough. They get a unit caught out. Granted, they're only 550 points. Not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. Aren't they adorable? Not really, but they are doing some damage actually to Kolek right now. He's going to turn around and finally just smack them down. Administer full WWE style. But over here, this is not the best. Ungor Spearman herd. The Chaos Knights, the Power Swords are actually going to get caught without having gotten the charge off. I mean, granted, they'll still probably win that engagement, but it's not going to be cost effective for them at all. Meanwhile, the Marauder Horsemaster is now going to be chased off by the Hounds. They could probably, once they pull the Hounds out of position of the spears, they can countercharge and just take the Hounds out. But Kolek's having to run from the Giants. These Summoners and the Chaos Knights with Lances don't really have the greatest positions to get engagements, but they might try and come back here, and yeah, without the Giants, they can clean up these two units relatively easily. That being said, I mean, using up all of the ammo on these jabs does mean that the Giants are going to be a lot tougher to take down. So Hadriz, yeah, just needs to stay tight here, take any engagements that he can get, like he's got these Chaos Knights pretty well pinned in now. We are going to see some Marauders come, basically sacrifice themselves for a moment. But meanwhile, in the back, this is not the best. The Manticore Summoner is the one that actually takes the charge, and if Hadriz spots this, he can then countercharge in with his Chaos Spawn and his Razorgore herd. Yep, there we go, and this is actually going to be a very good engagement for the Beastmen, I think, despite losing the caster. I mean, he only really had Spirit Leech, so it's not the biggest issue in the world, but we'll see. I guess the Chevrons will come in handy there pretty well. But yeah, the Horse Masters have kind of pulled back at this point. They actually didn't get the best engagement there. I thought that might be a bit better, but they didn't get much shock damage on the charge. I guess not much of a charge bonus on either of those units. I mean, the Razorgore herds have 46, which is a bit, but yeah, the Chaos Spawn now getting worked on by Kolek pretty hard, as do the Razorgore herd. They're going to enrage, and yeah, the Summoners also, they're charging up. Keep in mind, they're Chain Lightning as well, so a lot of this like expensive infantry could get potentially taken out, but here, this is a good engagement. Chaos Marauders, for the Beastmen, that is. Chaos Marauders doing well, and now the Giant, this is danger zone. All of a sudden, Kolek is in a really bad spot. The Giant's now in position, and he's going to start getting surrounded here by Chaos Spawn. The Summoners of Rage will do well, and a beautiful Chain Lightning chooses to rip apart those Ungor Spearman herd. Yeah. Might have maybe saved that for the Bestigor. It's hard to say, but at this point, Final Transmutation goes off. Overcast Final Transmutation is going to do a ton of damage. The Javelins are still operational in this area. Hadriz now pushing them off with the Spears, and the Bestigor trying to keep them zoned out from the Giants. One Giant took the brunt of the damage there, and the other one is basically completely healthy. So you can see him just taking chunks of damage out of the Summoners of Rage here. Big old wallops. That it's gonna spread the splash attack damage to the Marauders as well, which is great for Chosen that he has them kind of saturated in here. But yeah, as it is, Kolek, oh man, this is bad for Morgur. Morgur caught out in the open all of a sudden by himself. He's obviously pretty defensive. He won't get killed instantly, but against a straight up brawler like Kolek, he will go down. His regeneration's not going to be enough at this point, so we'll see. Looks like we are going to see a summon here, probably a Manticore summon. Yep, Manticore summon to help try and bail out Morgur here. Probably going to see a rear charge on Kolek. Meanwhile, the Marauder Horsemasters just shut down these Hounds. They need to get up and around, try and protect Kolek from those Giants as much as possible, but this is a pretty dangerous situation. Kolek takes a lot of charge damage from this Manticore. It could be bad. Doesn't look like he took too much there, and now probably going to turn around and fight. Nope, instead just lets the Marauder Horsemasters screen them out. Now he could probably go back and get a charge in and take out that Manticore with a good engagement. The Power Sword's still fighting here, so despite the fact they got kind of an inefficient engagement earlier, they're still fighting here, which is very important. They're kind of able to almost be like a mobile Chosen in a way, kind of be very defensive, but the double giants are coming over. They are very, very angry. The Manticore also comes over as well, and all of a sudden the Chaos Knights that had been doing quite well are just going to not do well at all. Immediately, the Marauders get terrified away. The Chaos Knights there taking shock damage on the charge. Basically, it's just Kolek and his Marauder Horsemen left trying to use up the last of their ammunition, but I really don't think that there's any way they can take out 2 Giants with so much HP left. Not to mention, Hadris has probably quite a bit of Winds of Magic still to summon a second Manticore, potentially. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's looking great. We'll see, though. Marauders come back in. The Power Sword Chaos Knights just trying to kite out the Manticore. And, oh man, this here as well, I didn't see. The Chaos Knights with lances almost completely healthy. I mean, I don't think they'll do a lot against the Giants, but Chosen of the Norns playing very patiently here, just kind of slowly feeding his infantry in, using up the last of his javelins, damaging this other giant. And then the Chaos Knights with lances, maybe we'll be able to clean this up in the late game if he can kite out the last of this Chaos Spawn, but he is almost out of ammunition, which means he'll have to start engaging some melee units. Yeah, Force Masters here just have a couple more volleys, and it looks like the Chaos Marauders there are shattered. Oh yeah, the Summoners of Rage came back over there as well. I didn't even see that. They might be able to help against the Giants, but these Giants are still going to be tough cookies. They're going to be tough nuts to crack, especially with Morgar and the Brave Shaman. That's, what, 4 single entities? 2 of them being foot characters. 2 of them being, 600 weapon strength monsters. But let's see. The Horse Masters over there just cleaning up some Spearman herd, and the last of the ammunition here by these Horse Masters is used up. Now Chosen must engage in melee. I mean, he is already chasing. Oh, nope, those units are gone now, so looks like he's going to start rushing in, try and force a good engagement here. Definitely has the advantage of trying to surround, and I don't know how these Bestigor herd are going to do here. I mean, the Beastmen definitely, they definitely put in a good push, but is this going to be enough? Kolek comes in, and oh man, he gets sandwiched between the 2 Giants. This could definitely be how the Beastmen win this game. This is basically worst case scenario for Kolek. That being said, he does get a beautiful rear charge from some different units, and this Giant's taking a ton of damage from the Summoners of Rage. Kolek actually able to use his Scroll of Shielding, and he also had his Standard Die active at that time as well, and is able to weather the storm of being caught in between the 2 Giants long enough for one of the Giants to go down. That's going to lead to a lot of these units getting terrified away here, and now just the 1 Giant by himself, especially with another, Final Transmutation here. Just a regular cast Final Transmutation will help do some other single target damage, will damage this Brave Shaman significantly as well, and that is going to be game. So Chosen of the Norns taking home the win for the Dark Powers. Kolek Sun Eater finishing it off, and a great build there to kind of kite out the Beastmen, continuously bog them down. He got caught out in a few bad engagements, but at the same time, just keeping his mobile units online. Those 2 Chaos Knights, 90 kills on the ones with the Power Swords. They ended up getting bogged down a little bit against Ungor Spears, but still won that engagement. I mean, I really like the Summoners of Rage and the Chaos Knights combo. Yeah, just a great mobile build, honestly. A lot of kind of elite power, which is not typically what I would do. I tend to go with wide mobile builds, but against the Beastmen, because I mean they almost specialize in that in a way. Maybe not specialize, but they're very strong in that wide mobility game. So I can see going for more of a kind of narrow mobility focus like this. But very interesting, fun stuff. Fun stuff. Yeah, the Giants were pretty good here. Honestly, the Giants were pretty good. Chosen of the Norns did get the right engagements, though, and keeping those Chaos Knights healthy until the late game. I guess I kind of underestimated them, but they do have 80 charge bonus, so, I mean, even against a Giant, they'll do so much damage because of the lack of armor there. And, yeah. It's interesting. Definitely very interesting. The Bestigor is one pick. I mean, they're okay here. I'm not the biggest fan, but I might switch them out for maybe even, another unit of Spawn, potentially. Butchers of Kalkengard would also probably be a pretty good pick here. Or if you had any way to give attack buffs to the Giants. I know Morgar's the meta and, summoning and whatever, but I do like some of the other Beastmen Lords for the buffs that they can give the Giants. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, they were fighting Kolek most of the time anyway, right? or like the Summoners of Rage. Definitely use the Spirit Leeches on the Knights. Yeah, you want to use them on the Chaos Knights. The Chaos, basically, the most expensive multi-model unit that you can. Chaos Knights would be the best. You could use it on the Summoners of Rage as well in a pinch, but I would probably say the Knights with Lances are going to be the best value. You can drop, like, quite a few models off them. Maybe you guys will disagree with that, but they actually have a pretty good HP pool. The thing is, Spirit Leeching most monsters is just like, I mean, it just doesn't do enough HP damage to really be worth it in the long run. I think probably you're better off actually to just take Lore of Metal and use Plague of Rust to make your melee units and missile units do more damage. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to kite, then I definitely see the Spirit Leech. They almost killed Kolek, and they almost killed the Summoners, but I mean, credit to Chosen of the Norns, playing to his strength of his mobility there. Yeah. Yeah, most of the time they're chasing hot air, yep. And that's kind of the fact that double giants are like very prevalent and good in this matchup, it kind of dictates the build, right? Because like this build, I think might have problems against a really wide Beastmen build. Like if you brought a bunch of Centaurs with throwing axes and great weapons, I don't know, and just try and go super wide and mobile rather than bringing like the two giants, then I think you could have some problems with this build potentially. Like once the Beastmen win the mobility engagement, then Kolek will be kind of isolated, right? And the throwing axes can bring him down, since he doesn't have any kind of healing or anything. But yeah, because the double giants are prevalent, you can kind of think about that in this engagement and kind of play off of it, right? And I don't know if Chosen of the Norn specifically made this build to counter giants or double giants, but I mean, because they are the pretty good answer for Beastmen getting run over by monsters to kind of help prevent that, then you kind of go in the mobility phase, and like I said with this, you could, there's an argument to be made for maybe going for double Manticore and a little bit wider here. That's probably how I would do it. Like I would probably cut this Chaos Knights with Lances, bring 2 Feral Manticores in its place, and then I'd probably cut, again, the 3 Horse Masters, go with 4 Marauder Horsemen with the Javelins, and then maybe bring some Hounds as well. I do like to pick up the Power Swords, and the Summoners of Rage are also pretty good in this matchup as well, especially since the armor buff, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. ROR Bestigor are awesome here too. Yes and no. I mean, they'll do well. I don't know. I just don't really like halberds in that price range, especially because they don't have that great a melee defense. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Now imagine what would have happened if Chosen of the Norns rather brought like double giants with his Kolek and just fought. You know, because he had, what, three monsters versus 2? And Chaos also has giants, so that would have been just silly. But instead, we actually got a game. Alright, well, that's going to be it for me for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this, if any of you are not subscribed, obviously, do subscribe, but you should go last. No, I'm super tired, man. I'm very tired. I need to take a break, and I actually have some other stuff I got to get done for the channel today, so I don't want to take too long with this. But big thanks to everyone. Big ups to Falcon for taking all the wins, and yeah, Hadriz and Chosen of the Norns also getting a couple wins there in the late game, so you guys are awesome. Let me thank Bastion once again for his. Let me just quickly check Streamlabs also. As I'm just signing off here, I want to make sure I thank everyone. Solid 3-hour stream. Pretty good stuff. Alright, alright. Well, looks like that's it. Thank you very much, guys. Gotta go. But we will see you next time. Bye now.